Hello, hello.
Hey, hey.
Hola.
Let me do this. Okay. Yeah, his name is Took. This is Took, everyone. He is my little monster. He likes to sit up there while I'm on my computer. My other kitty, Arwen, she usually sleeps on that pillow right there. I think she's still in the laundry room. Oh my goodness. Ivy, hello, and thank you for the follow. I'm assuming Finn will join us shortly.
Yes, I am here. I will be in a second. Just give me.
Yeah.
I'm here.
You're
though.
good.
I'm listening. I'm just a presence in the blackness.
You're all good.
She's one with the void at the moment.
I'm practicing my oblivion. Okay.
Nice. Just getting ready for season 2.
Yes.
Forgot what I was gonna say. Don't know. How are you guys doing today? I'm struggling, but yes. How's everyone else doing today?
Just waking up, coming to my senses. Got me some caffeine and ready to go.
I can't complain. Woke up this morning with a little bit of a tingling in my foot, which I feel it's positive because my blood pellets seems to be rising and actually being able to heal my body again.
Nice.
So that's a good thing.
What am I looking for? Okay, here. Oh, man. Okay. A bit sick and headachy. That sucks. It's allergy season. I feel like that's another thing.
Is.
Hey, look at there. Ooh, you get your new ramen bowl. Look at your cute little ramen bowl.
I have a blue one. I'm different. I'm better than everybody else.
Wow.
If you keep going the way you are, you'll get a magical ramen bowl like mine. It's quite magical.
Purple?
Yeah, there's little stars. Yeah, it's okay. I have a chronic illness, and every now and then it kicks my ass, and today's one of those days, so it's fine. That's life, eh? Just gotta fucking get through it. Nothing I can do about it, but get through the day. Eh?
Going through it. We're turning Canadian today, eh?
I say a lot. Everyone's always like, "Why do you say a?" And I'm like, I don't know. It works. That's life, eh? You know. Anyway. Listen, don't come at me. I don't have the energy to fight you off today. I don't have the energy to match the sass. All right. Let's start off our show the way we usually do, and we'll talk about our favorite moments. By the way, you guys in the chat, feel free to answer the questions as well. Tell us about your favorite moments or whatever else we ask. Feel free to ask questions if you're curious about something related to the game in general or related to the campaign. That's what we're here to do during this podcast, is talk to you guys, answer any questions that you guys have, and just, shoot shit about the episode. So let's get started. Uh, today we'll start with Mimsy. What was your favorite moment? He is very cute. It's my baby.
Favorite moment, this one. It's kind of weird. It's the vibe that's going on right now in the quarry that we before the 2-week time leap, we kind of saw that we were making progress as a group, and now all of a sudden everything is again going back into that normal, like, fuck you guys, like everyone is kind of fighting apart from Sparta. Sparta's like the only one who's trying to keep everyone cool and collected. That's where, like, favorite moment.
Doesn't necessarily have to be a moment. Could just be something.
I think, okay, I got two. When every one of us got a massive laughing attack and breaking character, that's always a favorite moment for me. When everyone
pushing when everybody was like the clip. Yeah, I have it clipped actually. Nikolai clipped it.
I don't remember what happened.
We all lost it at a certain point because, like, there was like the pushing of buttons. And
oh
then,
yeah,
like,
right. Okay,
we
okay.
all like kind of lost it for I don't remember why.
I don't know what triggered it.
It was just like a trigger of like laughter that was related to the like buttons pushing.
It was when we found out that everybody got summoned to the Elysium because all of the buttons got pushed.
Yeah.
And also this mysterious figure that was literally rotting in prison, and all of a sudden, hey, I'm not dead, I'm here.
So did anybody have any theories as to what was wrong with him?
I think that he might have been like under a certain, like, either, I don't know, ward or like spell or something like that was like paralyzing him and like keeping him as a rotten corpse. Like, for a second there I thought that they just had a Nosferatu in the fucking basement for a while for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
But because he was talking, so he was like aware. But he was just like kept almost like drained of his like life or whatever. And in a condition where he was like, he looked like a corpse, right? A rotten corpse or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it might be like a Tremere thing that was keeping him. But I don't know. That's like my...
And plus, he wasn't fed at all because they don't seem to feed anybody in the prisons.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No. They're not that worried about you being hungry or not.
I mean, unless like you can feed on the occasional rat, but somebody as old as Vincent, a rat like
would do nothing.
Literally gonna do shit.
No.
Like Nyx can't drink from animals.
No.
She wouldn't get anything from
I think it actually makes you sick when you're certain you're a certain age.
Sick.
Like like your body like rejects it. They're like,
rejects it. Yeah.
Nope.
Like, nope.
You become a picky eater.
A very picky eater.
Even pickier than a Ventru. Ventrus are very picky eaters, but it's not like their fault. They can't help it.
Bane.
Like, I feel bad for Ventrus in like the first like year of their life. So I feel like it's probably rough figuring out like what they like and what, because they'll actually throw up. Like they'll throw up the blood if it isn't like their quote unquote preference.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I feel like that would be miserable. Be like, well, let me try
like,
this.
you figure out what the fuck it is, and it's random.
I feel like
so hungry, but I can't eat.
I can relate to them on a very significant level. Feel like that's
Right.
Is that why they're your favorite? Jenna?
Yes.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes, that's why.
Perfect.
Vampire
Think
eating
about
disorder.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Struggle buddies.
Like, I understand you. I feel your pain, literally.
Yeah.
All right, Sparta, what about you?
My favorite moments, definitely has to be the scene in the conference. That was fun and hilarious. And then we had the snack room. So that was definitely my favorite. But after that, I would say when we were at that box and I said, just push all the buttons, and she just went psh, and then just kept pushing the button over and over and over. And none of us thought to go look at the stairs. And we're just like, just keep pushing it.
Honestly, I don't
That
even
happy
know if
roll.
you guys would have. The only reason I answered your question is because Finn literally asked me out of character. She's like, "Did anything happen?" And I'm like, "You wouldn't know. You're not in the room. No one went to check."
We were all so
Oh
clueless.
my God,
And she's
fucking
like,
damn it,
"Oh,
I'm putting you-
okay. Oh, it's like, have you ever seen that video of the little girl where her mom's recording her and she's talking about kicking, like she's gonna kick it. She's talking about a monster, or if someone came in their house, she'd be like, "I'd kick their ass." And her mom's like, "Well, that's not nice." And she was like, "If they come in here, they'll kick my ass." Like, and the little girl's like, "What do you mean, mom?" And then her mom's like trying not to laugh because she's saying ass, and like that's what her mom is referring to. And her mom's like, "Well, you should say kick their butt." And then the little girl goes, "Oh." That was the
Exactly.
moment for Finn. Like, whenever I was like, no one was in the room with the stairs.
I was like,
Oh, let's push the button
Face
again. Yeah, that was pretty damn funny. Ivy's favorite
those two
moment
were my
was
favorite.
Nix and Colette going off on everyone at different points.
That's spicy.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite was the buttons, then the kindred showing up like, "We have been summoned." Really, they were summoned.
Yeah.
They're like,
Literally.
"Oh, Catalina wants to speak with me. This must be
But
good."
literally.
What about you, Finn? What was your favorite moment?
Well, definitely the beginning, the moment where Ashley and Penelope bring the fucking Porsche new gift, and also officially welcome Nix and in their family, like in the Traitor family of New Orleans. That was very fun, even because like it was preceded by a very heated argument.
Yeah.
So that helped my character to get out of that mindset. And then definitely that little like comedic relief portion where Nix was like, "I'm so fucking over like everybody fucking being drama. I'm over Alejandro's ass. Like I want to have like some like good old fun and exploring with Sparta." And like she went and they made up the little like cute scene in the blood bags. Yes or no? I love that scene so much. That was so nice. That part of like, oh yeah, and then like they found again the refreshment like area. Like it was so perfect. It was like so like wholesome and like kind of quirky and whatever. And it's very much what Nyx is as like a character, and she hasn't had many chances to like let that side of her come out.
Yeah.
So I always like when like she can be herself like she would be if, you know, it wasn't all like fucking intense all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as I think it was Sparta, it might have been you. I don't remember. One of you, whenever as soon as you guys were like, let's go find like the refreshments. There's got to be like a refreshments in one of these rooms. I was like,
Yeah,
I know
was
what's gonna be in the next
like, it was like something
room.
like break room or something.
Yeah, something.
Like, yeah.
I'm like, found the refreshments. Because they wouldn't have blood bags because, like, that would do nothing. Catalina can't drink from a blood bag.
No, she wouldn't.
She would have to drink, like, fucking, like, 2,000 of those.
No, at a certain point, blood bags also for, like, older generations, for me, doesn't quench my thirst.
No.
I can't drink from blood bags.
It doesn't have the same effect. You have to drink straight from the vein.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
like
then eventually you can't even, like, you're not, like, even... Honestly, it's easier to drink from other vampire blood.
Yeah, because it's stronger.
Because it takes so many humans to actually, like, satisfy your thirst when you're older, especially like Catalina. Yeah. Like a 6th generation vampire.
Catalina probably feeds from other vampires, to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't think she would be able to feed off of humans. I think that it wouldn't be able to sustain her. And if it did, it would be like for a very short amount of time. Mm-hmm. She'd like be having a drink every 2 hours.
I'm a bloodaholic.
Bloodaholic.
Right.
Welcome to BA. Bloodaholic Anonymous. My name's Catalina, and I'm a bloodaholic.
I have a drink every half an hour.
Oh God, just coming. That would be so funny to like have some. These are like quirky things that I would love to implement just for like you said, comedic relief of like.
Yeah.
It's just stupid, but it's funny and it's fun. I love adding things. You know? Yeah, when it's appropriate and when it, when
it fits. It helps break up the tension.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll be right back. I need to get a jacket.
Something I've noticed, and that's something I always notice about us, that we always manage to have those type of moments where something stupid is going to be said, everyone bursts out laughing, kind of get that stress relief. I mean, we can look back, I think it was either episode 1 or episode 2, when the Tom Cruise crashing into the Galileo sisters comment, for example.
Second episode.
Yep.
Yeah. And there's always, like, stupid things that we will laugh at, and you could have had the most intense scene, like, 10, 15, 20 minutes ago. This comes out and it kind of relieves everyone's stress, because it's role playing, right? And if you put emotions into your character, there has that little chance that it actually is gonna affect you. So having those moments actually work for everyone at the end.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. I mean, most times by the time we're done, like I do feel drained just because I feel like we put so much into it that at the end of the episode you're almost exhausted.
I think that's one of the things I love about this group, that we, even though we have intense moments, we can still kind of make some funny squirrel moment or some stupid ass comment that makes everyone just burst into laughter for nothing.
Very true. But like I think we even talked about it in one of the podcasts. In Kindred Society, not everything's always intense. They still have like personalities and normal lives, so they're gonna have.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good point. Like we're like in the thick of it all, right? But like Kindred are not always like dealing with like fucking drama and like freaking like fighting like weirdos that come through and are trying to take over the fucking city and whatever. Like most of the time Kindred are just living like human beings.
They laugh, they have fun.
They have their relationships, they have their friend groups, they have like, their hangouts, they have their like daily lives. Like they have their little things that they like to do, like depending on, who they are as kindred. So obviously in our situation we're dealing with a threat, so obviously like the coterie and like the city in general, especially now at this point of the chronicle, like it's tense, everything is tense, like we're coming to the epic finale. And you
Mm-hmm.
can feel it, you can feel the crescendo of shit just like
Like
coming
just
to
hitting the
that.
fan.
Yeah, to that end. So but yeah, like we had little glimpse of like normalcy in like kindred, in the
Mm-hmm.
kindred like world. Like they have other things, they have better things to do than like go and fight some assholes that are coming through the city, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
With this group, it's like it's hard to. I mean, and I feel like this is how any tabletop. I need to figure out. Climax is not a bad word, Twitch. Um, I don't know what setting I have. I always forget until we're streaming. But whatever. Um, uh, what was I gonna say? I don't remember. Oh, I feel like this is true for like any tabletop campaign, is like your group is usually on some type of mission or adventure or this or that. It's like you're not living the like just everyday regular life. So you
yeah,
can't
because if not,
showcase
nobody will
that.
watch it.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
maybe you can do that like every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, I'm going to have to be right back cuz I'm struggling. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right. Ay. But I think like the combination,
Okay, okay. Yes, yes,
the,
yes. No, we're
the,
just gonna stare at each other's eyes and like wait
yep.
for you to come
But
back.
but I think like the combination of having those moments, and especially the after talk when we just go off stream when we're finished with the sessions is always like a nice little downtime. We talk a little bit about the episode before the podcast, but not too much. But we just chill and have a chat. Make sure everyone's all right, and that's how we do it. Me and Fen, for example, freaking Alejandro and Nix, they've gone at each other's throats multiple times. But that's always in character. Like I
Oh yeah,
don't,
no, like I don't
I
have
don't,
anything absolutely at all against Memsy. Like zero. Like I remember one time like somebody came through, like Phoenix, it was probably before you joined in the community, but I remember somebody was like, "Hey, like I don't think this is appropriate to do on stream. You
Right.
guys should take this off stream." And then like I don't remember if it was Jess or somebody else, but one of the mods like did the RP thing, the command that explains that we were role playing and it wasn't like
mm-hmm.
an actual fight. We weren't actually getting at each other's throats in like as me, Fenice, and Memsy. Like it was just our characters in that moment.
Yeah,
Um
I mean, like Nixon and Alejandro definitely had a lot of fights. But like we also said, we're in character, we're acting. It's pretty much it's as close as you can come to a Hollywood movie without us being all in one room. Because if we had the opportunity, not saying that we're not going to get the opportunity at some point in the future, we already kind of talking about it, to sit in the same room and do this, it would be much more intense and much more terrifying because of body language, right?
Yep.
Um, so right now, our way of expression is our voice, and when you put freaking, for example, me and Fen, who has both a certain type of blood that can get hard boiled very fast, and we channel it. I channel the attitude from a Latino. I channel it when I get pissed
same.
off. Like, you will see intense. You will get that intensity, because this is probably going to be obvious due to the name, but the fact that Alejandro is actually Latino as well is like, it's in the name. Come on, how more fucking Latino can you get than Alejandro Diaz?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like, and I made my character half Latina because I wanted to have that like spice, right? I wanted to like
Yeah.
have that attitude that I already as Fenicia have.
Mm-hmm.
Nope.
Same with, and
because
it's
I'm
the same with
Italian
me, right?
Brazilian, yeah, exactly like human. See,
so we kind of take that, channel it, and we put it on to Alejandro and Nick's when they have fights.
And yes,
but
Ivy. There were times it was too real, but I knew it wasn't. Yeah, but that's the point, right? That's the point of RP. Like, if you feel uncomfy while watching us, it means that we're doing it right.
Exactly.
mm-hmm.
And there's only been a few
And
times when Sparta's gotten really riled up, but even then, those times got intense.
Like at the
but
beginning of our last session, like I actually like slammed my hand so hard on my other hand that it was actually red. Like I had my hand throbbing for a second because I got like riled up as Nyx and like as Fenicia, obviously, because I was acting it. But yeah, no, I remember, I think I commented it. I was like, hey, I hurt my hand.
and that's
Yep.
the thing. Like, if you know your fellow role players, like Alejandro, when he gets pissed off at someone, he will tell you off immediately. He doesn't have a problem with that. And when I see reactions in chat, like, he's such a dick, he's such a that, I love that. I'm not gonna fucking sit here and lie and say that I don't love having Alejandro being called a dick, because it kind of gets that point across to the viewer that yes, he is a dick. He is acting this way. He is that. And that makes me see that you guys are feeling that he is being a dick.
And my boss actually watches us role play, and even he said, "Do you guys hate each other or something?" I was like, "No, we don't." But thank you for the compliment.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. I'm back.
Welcome back.
I'm okay.
Right.
I got this. I fucking got
You
this.
got this. Yes, you got this.
Ugh. What were we talking about? Alejandro being
No, we
an
were just
asshole?
like wrapping up on like the role playing and like how, you know, sometimes it does get real and like people will come in chat and be confused and be like, hey, why are you fighting? Like, take this off stream. Like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, no, we're role playing, guys. It's fine.
Yeah.
We don't hate each other. We don't have anything against each other. Like in real life, this is just, you know, us actually being in character. And that's one of the main reasons why, like, you know, we try to not interact with chat, because it does break that moment and that immersion.
Right.
We should be talking about the most surprise. There were so many surprising moments in this.
Yeah.
in this session. So maybe
Well, before we transition,
Yes.
because I didn't answer for my favorite.
Oh yeah, your favorite. What was your favorite moment, Jenna?
I think my favorite moment was when Vincent was there, because these two had seen Vincent when they were locked up, but like didn't know who he was or like what was going on or whatever. Sorry. And then you guys like walk in and see him and he's like killed everyone in this room, and it's like very clear that he has some sort of part to play in all of this. So that was fun to like reveal him and for you guys to like, I guess, meet him. And there's a lot of like mystery around like, who is this guy and like what's his whole story. Like Ashley did fill in some of that whenever she was talking about, oh yeah, the twins, Violet and Vincent. But there's still so much like mystery around like, who is this guy? Why were they keeping him in here? What was wrong with him? You know, because you guys remember the condition that he was in. Finn doesn't necessarily know where the fuck he came from.
I have no idea that he was even there. Like, that he was a prisoner.
Exactly. Like, so she doesn't have any context, but the guys do. And I thought that was kind of fun. And that's why I made him, like, every time we were in the cells, like, I made it a point to, like, talk about him in some way, you know? Anyway, go ahead, Mimsy.
I was like thinking at that point, is he going to reveal something that happened in that cell?
Well, he said, like, I was wondering if I was going to meet you. But he didn't say who.
Yeah, right.
So for Nyx knew that Sparta was taken in jail before and that he had spent time in there. So for Nyx, like, she just thought, oh, she wanted to officially, quote unquote, meet Sparta.
Doesn't know about Alejandro because
he didn't didn't necessarily mention Alejandro, or he didn't say you two and pointed. He said you.
Yeah.
So you can be one person or it can be multiple people. So, you know, like, it wasn't revealed that Vincent knew Alejandro also.
I'm just going to say this because I don't feel like typing at all. Sorry.
Yes.
Phoenix, we have a Discord for Night Prophecies when we transition everything over, which we mentioned a couple of times. We're going to be transitioning over everything to a Night Prophecies Twitch channel. Everything's going to be under the same thing. So we do have a Discord for Night Prophecies, and I can make a channel in there and put like the list of NPCs with like a little short summary or like, yeah, if that's something you're interested in and you would like to have, I can definitely do that.
That would be a good idea because also like I saw it. I never replied, but I saw that it's like, oh, have like maybe a little like bio.
Yeah.
For
our characters.
Yeah.
So like as we have it for our personal like actual playable
like the cast.
Characters.
Yeah.
You also would put like the NPCs that we have encountered so far, so that if somebody like misses a thing or wants to go back and hasn't seen the first season and wants to kind of catch up a little bit, they can go and access the information and know what is going on. Yeah.
I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not something that I'm necessarily going to do today, but because we're still like, we're slowly building everything. So it'll be in there eventually. That Discord isn't active at this particular moment. We're still like, you know, slowly adding things here and there.
Yeah, we're going to be finishing this up. We're going to probably be taking a few weeks off so that we can set up everything like related to the Discord and like to the new Chronicle and everything. And then once we start again, we're gonna just be doing all the tabletop stuff on that channel, and that channel is going to be just for tabletop stuff.
It's pretty much gonna be podcasts, episodes, everything. We have taken claim of several social media accounts with the name. We want to make it look as professional as we possibly can before launching it live, pretty much.
It's just at the moment we're more focused on the season at hand.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I'll make a note of that to add like a channel or something, or adding into what we were already planning on doing and just making because I have bios for all of the NPC characters. Like I have that all in my notes because I needed to know like who that character was to play them accurately. So we can definitely put that information up there for you guys so you can read it. Okay, surprising moment. That's what we were doing next. Who wants to go
Where
first?
to start?
I can start. I have
Okay.
a laundry list of like fucking surprising moments. So sheesh.
Okay, go for it.
Well, definitely the whole like Vincent and Violet thing, where obviously we finally found out who the fuck was the disgusting vile creature in the jails that has been mentioned several times but was until last episode a mystery. Definitely the whole like Lindsay and August thing, and honestly, I forgot like favorite moments, but like the whole like moments at like Colette's safe house were awesome. I loved all of those moments too. Those were super cool. The Bat Cave was freaking fantastic, and I'm like, oh, of course, that's so Colette, and it makes so much sense. Like, she would be such a badass that she actually designed like a fake house, and then like having a whole like super safe like James Bond headquarters like in the basement that you have to access through a secret like freaking like garage elevator shit. Like that was so freaking cool. So like even that little surprise of like I thought that we were going to go in the house because we were in the house, and then you're like, yeah, just wait in the car. Like,
just
what? And
pull
then
into the garage. Don't get out.
What is going on? So honestly, all of that, and just like the whole scene in the Elysium, definitely like with the 3 quote unquote council members, which weren't council members. The Vincent thing related to Violet, okay, we have 2 La Sombra to deal with, the twins,
Right?
very old La Sombra twins. Fuck this shit. Like, what the fuck?
So, I hate asking these questions because I feel like it puts ideas in your heads and it reveals things that maybe you hadn't thought of. Besides Finn, because she figures out the plot every time.
Right?
I'm not gonna ask. Never mind.
That's why, like, I don't share much either, because I'm like, I give my shit to my.
Finn's like, I'm on to you, Jenna. I know what's going on here.
I studied film. I know of plot twists. I know how to read breadcrumbs.
I want to talk about it. Do I care?
We're like at the climax of the,
I mean, I guess if you haven't figured it out by now, then I don't think anyone has figured it out because nobody has mentioned it. So I'm just gonna say, what has the message been the entire campaign? What is the message that has been delivered to you guys countless times?
That there's like a hostile takeover.
No. What is the actual message from this group of people that you guys have been told on several occasions through several different people and things that have happened?
The 2 is 1 and 1 is 2.
We are 2. You are 1. Twins.
Yep.
Vincent. Violet. One of the twins was locked away in a dungeon. The other one possibly is coming with vengeance to save her brother. Just saying.
I did not think about that, but
We are 2, you are 1. These twins are like, don't fuck with us. We're gonna fuck your shit up.
Yeah, they very well can because
Yeah.
they're probably as powerful as Catalina, and there's two of them.
Exactly. That's the whole message. We are two, you are one. We will outlast. Let's go. You want to fight us? Let's fight.
Well,
they're
fuck, guys.
They're a little cocky.
Like, that's all I need to say. Fuck.
Right?
Fuck.
You know what? At this point, y'all motherfuckers in this town, y'all are older than me. I'm gonna get my sweet ass back home. Y'all sort this shit out. Laters. I ain't got no fucking.
Come to
That's
the dark
one
side.
thing that Nick said is like, is it time to like relocate?
Yeah.
Like, should we move to another city?
Go to Hawaii, Wisconsin, or Alaska.
I'm like, let's go to Alaska in the middle of nowhere.
San Diego.
I'm like, I'll go to Portland. I wonder what is Portland? Is it a Camarillo or like I feel like it would be more of a Camarillo city.
Portland? Maybe.
For me, the most shocking part was definitely August defending Lindsay's hideout. Because right now, for Alejandro, that's like, what the hell? I mean, he doesn't remember that talk, obviously, but what is that going to imply for Alejandro?
Yeah, Seattle would be good. I agree.
Lots of rain.
Mm-hmm. Seattle by night.
Surprising moments. Surprising moments is hard for me to answer. I guess it's more so like stuff that you guys do that was surprising.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys did anything that was that surprising to me, though.
We're not up to par, man. We're not up to par.
You're used to our swirling.
No, I think it's just like you guys did everything. Not that I would expect, but like what I would expect to happen in like the role play situation. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's not like anything out of the ordinary really happened. So yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
For me, it would be definitely the whole thing with Vincent when we got there and like everybody was dead. I was like, oh shit. And then he summoned that wraith. I was like, oh shit. We're about to be fighting a demon or something.
Yeah.
But then the whole thing with August.
Most shocking was that demon thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I totally forgot that in the rewrite of Oblivion, which is the La Sombra discipline, is the one that like creates the black thick fog that takes out all the light and like the wraith summoning and whatever. Now they can do that. You couldn't do that before. It was not part of it. Like you wouldn't be able to do that. I think Giovanni could do that, like summon wraiths or like. They were the necromancers, the Giovanni clan, but it's not even a clan anymore in the new rework. Like, I don't think Giovanni, like, exists at all as a clan. So I feel like they kind of, like, put together a few clans and, like, put together a few, like, of the old disciplines and, like, made a cocktail and made a new one.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever that came out, I was like, what the fuck? I thought it was, I told Jenna afterwards, I was like, I thought it was a Simisi. I was like, oh, fuck, great. Like, is this like a rando, like rogue, like ex-Sabah, like fucking shit that is like trying to fuck shit up? Like, no, it was just another La Sombra because now they can summon wraiths from the other side of the veil.
Yeah. And they can control them.
Right.
Wraiths are scary too, because there's not many vampires that can actually fight them.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When I heard the name Wraith, my mind went straight into Phasmophobia. for some strange reason.
But the whole thing with August also, that surprised me. I was like, all right, we're going to go see Lindsay. And then all of a sudden, here comes one of the ghosts from the tomb. I was like, oh, shit. This guy's going to go into some spirit form and we're not going to be able to hurt him.
But that
Surprise.
then comes the question.
Couldn't hurt him anyway. He wasn't in a spirit form.
Yeah.
Then comes the question, who was the other ghost?
Exactly. But you guys made this connection before. I didn't actually make the connection at first between him and Lindsay. And then when it clicked, I was like, oh, shit. Because I really like Lindsay. She's one of my favorite characters. And I was like, no, but damn it. This is probably what's happening.
We don't know. The thing is that we don't know yet what the fuck is the relationship. Like,
Yep.
we don't know how it was created. Like, I guess, like, right at the end, when Nyx, like, mentioned it to Catalina and Imani, and she was, like, there. Sparta, you were there with me, right? So,
Yeah, I was there.
And Catalina's like, no, Imani, I know exactly. Like, you're not saying another fucking word in here. She knew. Like, that is a name that, for some reason, like, the association with August and Lindsay clicked for Catalina. So it had to be something that was already existing, like, from a previous time. So, yeah.
I feel like me not making the connection was a good thing because Sparta was so focused on keeping the Lindsay's hiding place secret. He was being very vague with August and like trying like just say, oh, we're just here tracing somebody.
Well, I think Colette ended up like telling the truth, right? Because like,
yeah.
When after that happened to Nick, Colette was like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is why we're here. Don't hurt us.
Yeah.
Colette was being hardcore negotiator the last episode.
Yeah, both times with Vincent and August. She's like, okay, bro, this is your house. We're just here. We'll leave. Whatever you want. It's fine. We're not a threat to you. Colette knows when she can't win a fight. And she most definitely would not have been able to win either one of those fights. So she's like, I'm not going to try to antagonize these people. I'm going to try to talk my way out of this situation and just be like, yeah, okay. And that's where her like police training comes in and negotiating and being like, okay, yeah, man, you're in charge. You're the boss here. Whatever you want, you got it. Big man. Big scary man.
Please don't murder us.
I ain't trying to fight you. Not today. Maybe if like a few more of my friends were here with me, then yeah, maybe. But nah, not with these people.
A few flamethrowers and shit.
Fuck them out.
Yeah, no, Colette wasn't gonna try to fight in either one of those situations. You guys were at a very big disadvantage. Did everyone answer for surprising times? Yeah.
Yep.
So what are your thoughts about the situation with Penelope and Ashley, that Penelope's memory seems to have been wiped of the twins, but Ashley remembers them?
Yeah, that was very interesting. Honestly, it kind of makes sense because again, like, Ashley is not the one that will be like worried about the underlying political and like power structures of like, again, in the political side of like kindred relations. But Penelope instead is the one taking care of that. So if she has been in contact or had been in contact with them before, and for some reason has been manipulated as well, like, Ashley wouldn't find herself in a situation like that. She would just know the gossip about them.
Right.
Like she would just know, like, oh yeah, no, they came in, they tried to fuck shit around, and like they got taken out. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But that at the same time worries me because even prior, right, when Alejandro was taken, that was Lindsay's orders, and that was Penelope that delivered Alejandro to Lindsay. So was she manipulated by the twins, or was she manipulated by Lindsay? If Lindsay is the ultimate double agent in the situation.
Mm-hmm. I think like a lot of realization started coming to place of what Sparta and Alejandro had been saying to Nix and Colette. Like, there is some shit going on, and when Penelope doesn't realize the twins, when you know Ashley was talking about it, Alejandro looks at Sparta like, "This seems fucking familiar." And that's when
Yeah.
Alejandro burst and said, maybe your mind has been fucked with. Because
The
it's
thing
exactly
the
same
thing
shit.
is Colette and Nyx never said that nothing was going
never
on. They
denied.
just said
Yeah, they
we
never
don't
denied.
remember what
Yeah.
you're saying. They never said you're lying or like
Yeah.
you're wrong. They were just like we just don't remember whatever you're saying. This is what we
Yeah.
remember. They never
Exactly.
like said that something fishy wasn't going on. Because Colette 100,000% believes that. She's like, yeah, someone fucked with my brain in that room, but this is what I remember. Like, at first, they were just convinced that that's what was happened. But
Yeah.
obviously, as time has gone on and hearing obviously that's not what happened. But they can't do anything about the fact that that's what they remember. They're like,
Yeah.
well, that's literally all I remember. I don't remember what you're saying.
And there is no way around it. Like
Yeah, no.
for me, especially for Nyx,
Yeah.
like with that specific character getting a crit, like that is like detail stuff. Like for her, it has been hard for her to be like, well, okay, but like it's so vivid in my mind.
Right.
Like, how is that wrong? But obviously, like again, with Nyx, I never said that it wasn't a possibility.
Yeah.
Like it had happened after several times to other people too. So yeah, it I don't believe that neither Nyx or Colette are trying to fight the fact that like they have been tampered with.
And now we've been tampered with as well.
Yeah.
Like, this is like freaking Oprah. You get a tempered mind. You get a tempered mind. You get a tempered mind. You all get tempered minds.
Nobody escapes.
That's pretty much Jenna's Oprah moment right there.
Okay.
Tempering
Now-
everyone's mind at this point.
With the whole
What?
Penelope thing, because I do believe we had a discussion in one of the podcasts a while back where we were suspicious of Penelope of being involved in some way. So have any of you guys wondered, since her mind has obviously been tampered with, if she may have been manipulated in any other way?
That's pretty much the question that was in hand, right? Like, did Lindsay manipulate her, or was Lindsay manipulated by Vincent?
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. Like we don't know who did what and if it was manipulation or it was like free will for some other reason. Like
We're not sure.
I had mentioned it off stream before, but like Lindsay throughout this entire campaign like gave small breadcrumbs of information, like where she relates to people that have been taken against their will and like embraced against their will. She has some sort of sympathy. Even though she's very old, she kind of like empathizes or can empathize with that situation more. So since like the beginning of our chronicle, I have been thinking, okay, has she been taken against her will? Like maybe like her past is influencing in a very subtle way, like her reaction towards like Nyx, somebody that, like honestly, like who the fuck cares? Like she's old, like it's kind of inconvenient. Like, it would make more sense for her to have more of an approach of like Catalina, like what the fuck? Like I don't give a fuck, like you're nobody. But no, like she actually like helped Nyx several times throughout and was very understanding of Nyx. And a few other things where, it's like, does she maybe have a little bit of beef with her grandma? Like that is maybe like not really like shown because again, her grandma is the prince. She can't really do shit about that. So did she maybe like started maybe talking to Vincent in the cells or some shit? Because she's the sheriff. She's the sheriff. She's the one that goes down there all the time.
And even in one of the episodes, Lindsay and her grandmother did get into a conflict when she objected to going into the prison. So
yeah,
we don't always agree.
So it could be that, it could be something in the past, or it could be also like her going down there and doing her thing and being little by little manipulated by Vincent over time. Because apparently this guy has been down there forever. He has had all the fucking motherfucking time to manipulate a mind. Even though like he might not be able to use his disciplines. He's still a fucking old ass vampire. He has other ways of manipulating people.
Exactly.
So we don't know where it is and like how it turned. Like we don't know the links. We know that the situation is, well, Lindsay seems compromised at this point. How she got there, I guess we're gonna have to figure it out. But because of this, everybody that is linked and has been working closely with her has a high chance of being tempered with. Silev, Penelope, and what? Maybe even Colette. Just because Colette was with us for a month, but like she has been the one in contact and like talking separately with Lindsay every time.
True.
So technically everybody could be compromised. Everybody that had a private, close contact with Lindsay throughout this whole thing might have been tempered with.
God, I hope it's not Lev.
Because the thing is you don't know if this whole thing with Lindsay and August is how is it directly related to what's going on with Vincent and Violet and Isaiah and all of that mess. And are Vincent and Violet linked to Isaiah? Which there has been some little breadcrumbs to maybe draw a conclusion about that. But like, what's the connection there between those two parties as well? Yeah. And who's doing this willingly and who's doing this because they've been manipulated? Because obviously Violet and Vincent and now even August, they're very willing to mess with people's heads and erase memories, change memories, implant memories, do shit like that. You know what I mean? So it's like obviously we're working with some very manipulative vampires that
sly.
Yeah.
So sly.
So who's involved because they want to be involved and who's involved because they've been forced to be involved?
They've definitely been playing the long game.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. If Vincent is involved, then it's like it's very clear that this has been something that's been going on for a long time.
Very long game.
Because he's been in there for a long time. Which Ashley didn't give a timeline of when the twins were in the town and all of that was happening. She didn't like specify that. She just was like, yeah, I don't remember. They were here. There was like all these issues and blah, blah, blah. Like that could have been.
She said a comment where it was like, she said something like,
couple hundred
it
years.
was like, no, it was like, she's like, it was a while ago. But she didn't say how long
she didn't
ago.
like specify. She just said.
So it was definitely like not in the last probably like 10, 20 years. I would imagine. A while ago for a vampire.
For vampire is a while.
Or like maybe 50, 60 years
100,
ago.
maybe something like that.
Years ago.
Yeah, a while is, I mean,
a while
10 years is nothing to a vampire when you live
Yeah.
as long as they do.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see who is involved willingly and who has been sort of forced to be there. Because, like I said, obviously these people are not.
They don't care.
They don't, yeah. They're like, well, you seem to be a problem, so let's fix that.
Mm-hmm. Seriously. Seriously. Let me just like beep, beep, beep. Are you good now? Are we good now? Cool. Let's
Some
go.
mind voodoo shit here, a little bit of mind voodoo shit there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dominate OP as fuck.
Yeah. Dominate is pretty OP. Especially at the higher levels. Definitely at the higher levels. You can get away with a lot of shit. Especially if you're powerful, because like you guys saw, I was rolling big, huge pools against you. So there's a lot of room for success there. Which I was like, we're just going to have to see how this goes, because with rolling, you never know how it's going to go. Even if you do have a large pool, it doesn't mean you're going to do well. So I was like, okay, well, he's going to just try to erase everybody's memory. We'll see how this works. Because another thing is, when you erase memories, the person that's doing it, you don't know if it worked necessarily. So it's not like you are aware of the fact that you actually erased their memory. Oh, the only way you would know is if it was a human. Humans, they can't resist you, so it's an automatic win every time. Whereas if you're trying to do it to a vampire, you're not really sure if it worked. But most disciplines on humans are successful because they just don't have the power to resist that kind of stuff.
Yeah, how is a human gonna resist a kindred?
Yeah, no, they can't resist it. I can't resist. What's up, Chonger? How are you? Let's see. What else can we talk about? What else happened? I feel like
there was Roman.
Oh yeah, Roman.
I think he was definitely involved.
You think Roman's a traitor?
At least tampered with in some way.
Yeah, I firmly believe the same thing.
There would have been some indication for him. If he's worked there for that long and it's his job to keep that place safe, like he would have had contact with the guards or something. So he had to have known something was going on. Even if like it was like we were talking about triggers where, okay, something happened and he was triggered not to do anything for that moment. And then once somebody brought up, oh, something's going on, he came to his senses and immediately ran down to see what was going on. And that's when he got spit on. And then after the whole thing, he's like, oh shit, I fucked up. And so he tried to get out of there as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it could be something like that, but you also have to remember you don't know the timeline of how long Vincent was just down there chilling.
True.
So Vincent very well could have went in there and he erased his memory and he genuinely didn't remember what was going on. You know what I mean? Also a possibility.
Because there was nobody else there in the Elysium.
Yeah.
That
Yeah. So also a possibility that either he did stumble across it or Vincent came out and like searched the area, found him, and was like, hey, you're just gonna pretend like nothing's going on here. You know? Also a possibility with Vincent and his powers. But it is... Excuse me. Do you guys have any theories as to why Vincent would have waited in the cells? So he seemed to have been waiting down there. Like he was already free. He could have left. So why didn't he leave?
I was curious about that. The only thing I could think of was that comment he said where he was like, I was wondering if I would get to meet you. So the only theory that I can come up with is he wanted to meet one of us. Because otherwise, what's the point of him staying there? He was already free. Nobody else was in the Elysium.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who he would be waiting for otherwise. I mean, I doubt he would wait for Catalina by himself without his sister.
Seems to be pretty cocky. I don't know if you would really worried about Catalina.
The only thing I could think of is he was waiting to meet one of us.
Could have been Nyx.
Most likely.
We were talking, I was asking if anyone had any theories as to why Vincent hadn't left, because it seemed like when you guys got there, he was just like waiting for something.
Yeah.
So like you were free already. He wasn't locked up anymore. So what was he waiting for? Why was he not gone already?
Oh yeah, the whole situation, even with the 3 people upstairs, like nobody, like I don't think anybody like really is paying attention to that. I'm like, who the fuck are those 3 that I like introduced myself to? God damn it! Like I thought I introduced myself and made a good like impression on like the actual council members, not some like fucking like randos that were there maybe creating some shit or like waiting for Vincent to head out of the Elysium or whatever. Like, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were definitely involved in some way.
Agnes, Steven, and Peter, the fuck are you?
More traitors.
The mysteries.
Like, I'm like, okay, well. It's like, what were they waiting for Vincent? Or because I guess that wasn't anybody. That wasn't they weren't part of the Camarilla of the city. So who the fuck were they? Why were they there? Why they were like chilling and like why they were like, oh yeah, no, we know you. Like we know you. That's fucking creepy now. In context, we know who you are. No.
I mean, let's be fair. Everyone knows who Nyx is. The enemy and the people who live in this city.
True.
No, I know, but still creepy.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, maybe they were there to make anybody that was arriving that wouldn't have known that they didn't belong, make it look like everything was normal.
Yeah, exactly, sure.
Because the only person that would have probably been able to actually know if they were council members or not was Colette. But she wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to like what was going on. She just assumed like, oh yeah, that's who those people are. Because they looked like that's who they probably were. You know what I mean? Like if she would have went over and like talked to them and actually like focused on them, then maybe she would have been like, I don't recognize these people. you know? But she wasn't paying a whole lot of attention to that, other than, like, the fact that Nyx went and talked to them, and she was like, oh, wow, okay. But none of the other people in the group would have, you guys haven't been around long enough to, like, really be able to recognize all of the people, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I mean, there's a number of reasons why they might have been there. You thought Agnes was all sweet and stuff. You're like, oh,
No,
sweet
I'm
little
like, aw.
Agnes. Agnes is like, see you later. Have fun inside.
Right? It's like, you're in
guess
for a
so,
surprise.
Motherfucker.
Because it's also incredibly curious, because when you went back upstairs to try to leave, instead of sweet Agnes, Stephen, and Peter sitting in the courtyard, you just got a courtyard full of darkness.
Yeah.
So it's like they knew you were going in there, so like, okay. Bing. Time to lock them in.
Which means either Agnes, quote unquote, Agnes was Violet. I don't know if anybody thought about that, but I did. And is the other La Sombra? Or we have more La Sombras.
The whole La Sombra family.
And I don't know what the fuck is worse at this point.
I don't know, 5 La
Because one is already
Sombras.
bad. Okay, one is already bad.
Yeah.
2 is definitely not good. Especially 2 powerful old twins. Okay? More than 2 is definitely not okay.
No, La Sombras are insane. Especially old ones.
No.
Like, yeah, Catalina's powerful, obviously. But La Sombras can do shit that make Catalina look like Sparta. Like, literally. Like, they're just so powerful. I'm like, why are they so powerful? Just the shit that they can do can, like, render you just completely helpless. Even if you're super powerful. So,
Yeah.
Alejandro is violent.
Yes, totally. Totally. That's the plot twist.
But yeah. And not only that, but if excuse me. If those people were, if Agnes, why does this always happen to me? If Agnes was Violet, was she like modifying her looks somehow? Or did these guys just not recognize her?
To be fair, Sparta wasn't paying very much attention, so he wouldn't have noticed if she was looking like herself.
And if I saw her, she modified my mind, so I
You don't
wouldn't
know what she
remember
looks
her.
like. Same with Colette. I don't think anybody was paying a lot of attention to them. That's why I didn't have anybody enroll to, like, see if you would have recognized anyone. So yeah, Agnes very well could have been Violet. And nobody even paid attention to it.
Yeah.
Because you guys you weren't expecting anything. You're like, we're at the Elysium. Oh yeah, those are some council members. Yeah. It looks like there's some old ass vampires sitting over there. Yeah, they're probably council members. Okay, cool, whatever. But Nyx is gonna go talk to him. Cool. That sounds, yeah, she would do that.
Yeah, but like,
You know what I
again,
mean? But like everybody, it was just normal. Yeah,
unless it was like somebody from the cemetery, but it wasn't, because like I would have noticed. And again, even if it was Violet, and I did see her at the motel, because I suppose that was Violet at this point, seems pretty obvious. I wouldn't remember how she looks like in reality, because she modified my memory to remember her as like a very sweet old lady.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Nyx wouldn't have been able, even if she was like,
no.
For you.
So yeah, very interesting to think that the coterie literally walked right by
possibly
the enemy.
Yeah. And actually, Nyx went and say hello.
Yeah, Nyx went and talked to him. Hi, just wanted to introduce myself. Violet's
Only
like...
a Toreador, like Colette said.
Violet's probably like, all the irony.
Yeah, seriously. Like, I'm
Yeah.
like, geez, if it was her, like...
Yeah, nice
Like,
to
look
meet
at
you.
this fucking idiot over here.
Too funny. It's actually pretty funny to think about. Nyx is sleeping with the enemy.
No, I'm just saying hi. Just saying hello. Just checking
making,
in. How
just
you guys
making
doing?
connections. You know,
You never know. You never know.
it's all about
you know, maybe,
connections.
like,
It's all about who you know.
connection.
Oh my god, have you ever met Agnes? She's so cool.
She's like so cool. Like she was so sweet with me.
But yeah, so it might have been other people. It might have been Violet. Who knows? But
yeah, that's what I thought. Like whenever like it's like, oh, it's not Agnes. I guess it could have been Violet. And if it's not Violet, we have more La Sombra, and that is not okay.
that is not okay. You're like, Jenna, stop. 2 is
Like,
enough.
that is not okay. Like, if you put us against like that twin couple of like 6th generation La Sombra.
There's like this whole fucking
and
family.
There's like a whole family of
Like,
La Sombra.
You fucked with the wrong family.
I'm like, okay, you know, Jenna, like you can take New Orleans. Like I don't want it anymore. I'm gonna move out.
Everybody just surrenders. They're like, yeah, you know what? It's fine.
You guys can have it.
World's a big place.
There's like a lot of space out there. I'm pretty sure I can find a better place for my character elsewhere, Jenna. I love you, but like, you can have La Sombra take over New Orleans, okay? Like, do it.
It's funny. No, I think 2 La Sombra is enough. Honestly. Kitty. Meow. I love how he just stares at me like the whole time. He wants love. I love you, booby booby. I love you, booby booby. His nickname is Boki.
Boki?
Did you hear me out to it? When I said Boki, meow. It's my Boki? Yeah. I don't know where it came from or what it means. It's just a word that I made up. My Boki boy.
No. Yeah.
What was I gonna say?
No.
I don't remember. It was something, there was a question I was going to ask. I need to start writing them down. While we were talking, there was a question I thought of, and then I forgot about it because I got distracted. Excuse me. What else happened? Wow.
What else happened?
Like in the episode. I feel like we talked about all the things already.
Well, we started the episode in the well, technically then like we RP'd like mine and like Sparta's like beginning of the day off stream. So I guess like we could talk about that if people want to know what the fuck is going on that side. And then it started with us like getting the little powwow where everybody got aggro at the beginning, and then Ashley and Penelope came through with the cars, and then we went to we were trying to figure out what to do to find Lindsay. Why? So we ended up going to the Elysium, right? That was the first thing we did.
We went to the bar. Then we went to the Elysium. Bar. Oh, buddy.
Then we went to Elysium.
Don't fall down, go boom.
We discovered the whole Vincent situation. Escaped.
Duke.
Then to Colette's.
Then we went to Colette's with Lev. Lev gave us the address to like the super safe location. We went over and discovered August and the ward. Then went to we went to meet Imani. But we couldn't find her.
We went to you went to Ronaldo. And
we went to Ronaldo, and then he was like, oh shit.
Let's go find Imani.
We all went to Elysium because Nyx pushed all the buttons, and that's where everybody was.
Yeah.
So we ended up like explaining the situation to Imani and Catalina. They had their like talk, and then Catalina dismissed everybody and told everybody to just like find a safe space to stay and be careful because Vincent is on the loose now.
Yeah. I thought it would be fun, although I knew that it wasn't going to happen. I want to see what the fuck is under that bridge.
Yeah, no, me too. Like, I really wanted to get in there, but like, it's something that at that point, like, we could revisit eventually, like possibly to see like what the fuck is in there. Because I mean, if Lindsay has that connection with the enemy through August, it would probably be smart to go and see and check it out. Especially now that we have 100% confirmed, because Nyx is smart cookie and went and asked Imani, and she's like, hey, like, just to make 100% sure, is it okay if we use something to smash the thing? She's like, yes, it's okay. Just do not touch. Not touchy touch. We do handy hand. But everything else is fine. Yeah. So now that we 100% know how to like deal with boards, like we could like actually like just go and like
mash that shit up.
that thing open.
The other thing that's going to be interesting is seeing that what actually is going to happen there, because Catalina knows where Lindsay is. So is Catalina going to go to Lindsay in that time period?
Oh, most definitely, because we told her that she was injured and it is her granddaughter. And she does seem to show at least some favoritism towards her.
And she also was, I guess, like somewhat like there was a reaction when Nyx mentioned August in that like ward.
So she's definitely going to go.
Yeah. Catalina and Imani left to go to Lindsay. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Like,
she took Imani because Imani is a Toreador and knows how to... a Tremere knows how to deal with wards and shit.
Yeah.
So...
So that is definitely something that's going to be interesting, seeing what actually happened in that.
Or if you guys will.
Yeah, if we will.
I highly doubt Catalina's not going to be like, let me give you a small little update. Like,
this is what I found.
Yeah, no. But it's funny because there's been like so many things that, like so many like situations that you guys haven't been able to be a part of because it's like you're not important enough. Just like, what happened there? Like, what happened with Catalina and Imani when they went to that bridge?
Well, these are all questions that maybe you like could answer once this chronicle is over.
True.
As like the backstory that is not gonna get told, because it is something that if it's told, like it would influence us in how we play it.
Yeah.
But that it's not gonna be like influential in the next one,
Yeah.
It's just like, here you go. Were you wondering? Da, 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 da.
So much shit that I'm wondering.
That's gonna be that is gonna be a full-on Jenna podcast.
Yeah, we're gonna be like, okay, Jenna, like You need to
It-
tell us,
Tell
like,
us
what
now.
was this? What was that? What happened here? Why did you put that there?
Deleted scenes.
Honestly, that would be fun. Because
Yeah.
there's like lots of things that I've wanted to talk about that I'm like, I can't talk about that because it would reveal too much about like what's going on, you know?
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking. Like, once, like,
Buddy.
the Chronicle is over, would be fun to, like, reveal the background shit that was happening, but
Mhm.
we couldn't know.
Yeah.
Just fill in the gaps
It'd be fun
that
just
we
Yeah.
have been kind of like filling ourselves, but you know, with its theories, it's like all like, you know, what we think, or like, but it's not the actual truth.
a podcast where we can grill you for information.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
that would be
down.
fun. That would be a fun one.
Yeah. It can be like in between seasons. Be like, okay, here's all of the answers to any questions you have of shit that wasn't revealed. Because I don't know, I don't think a lot of what is happening this season will necessarily affect next season.
Yeah. Even because I believe that like it would be smart for us to do like at least a year skip.
Yeah. And not only that, but it's like other than the sense of it being like shit that you guys experience together and like backstory, you know, other than that, it's not gonna be like, hey, remember that one time
The one
we,
time at band camp.
we
Yeah.
faced that really scary guy? You know what I mean? It'll be just like memories. It won't be like actual things that are like influencing anything in the story necessarily. So it would be okay to sort of talk about everything. Hey, Jess.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, Jess.
Hey, Jess.
It's really up to us how long the season is. I think we said somewhere around 12 to 15 or something like that. I don't remember. It's a surprise for them. They don't know when it's ending.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to know, because then it's like they will be anticipating like the finale,
The
so
end.
to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I feel like we are reaching like the last third of our campaign. Last third or last fourth of our campaign. I feel like that's where we're at.
Yeah, I was feeling that too last time. Like, it's could be next episode. It could be a couple of more episodes. Like, you're starting to get to that point, and it's really like kind of filling that point as well. Like with all the revelation that's been going on the past at least 2 episodes. And see what happens.
Things are starting to come together and get really intense. Like we're about to hit like a super big climax.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be episode 11, and like, at the beginning of the Chronicle, like we were like, it's probably gonna be like 3 months and a half, something like that. So we are at that mark, pretty much.
Getting ready for the
Yeah.
end. Do you think you'll have an episode
end?
where it's like a catch-up episode of what you've been doing sometime after they've finished? Probably not, because it would be really hard. I think she means like an episode of like, this is what they've been doing over the last year or whatever.
I mean, we could do like, we did an introductory podcast for this Chronicle. We could do an introductory podcast to the next season.
Yeah, I don't
Of
think
the
it would be an
Chronicle.
actual RP session, though.
Yeah, it wouldn't be an RP session. We would probably be like, hey, like, this is like what, you know, we have been RPing off stream.
Yeah.
And that has happened in this thing. And this is the new setting. And then, like, you can, you know, like we talked
Introduce
about
the
it
new
before,
season,
introduce a new season and whatever. I think that's doable. I think that's actually a fun idea.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that. I wouldn't want to do an RP session, like, 'cause that would be really hard.
No, yeah, it would.
It would be really
because
hard
you're trying to
to
RP like a year or two, like depending on how much like we decide to skip in time.
It would be easier to just talk about it out of character and be like, this is what these specific characters have been doing. It would also be nice to see, I guess, for me, like, talking about what NPC characters are going to return and which ones aren't. Because it, depending on what happens in the city, it doesn't necessarily mean that everybody that's a part of the first campaign is going to be a part of the second campaign, like NPC-wise. So that could be another interesting thing of, like, talking about, like, over the last year or 2 year or however long we decide, these people have decided to leave or whatever, or shit like that. So yeah, that we can definitely do that for sure.
Yeah, I think that would be super cool, actually.
Or if the traders are involved and they're some of the main NPCs, they're definitely not going to be around for season 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's what I mean. Like, the stuff that's happening in this season is definitely going to affect the leadership of the city. So, like, what is that going to look like? And the time skip is the time of everything kind of rebuilding or shifting, new leadership coming in and shit like that. So we can, like, introduce that to you guys and to the audience of being like, yeah, we've got new people. These are who they are. Which hurts my brain because I don't necessarily want to. I've thought about this long and hard of, like, do I want to kill people? Do I want them to, like, leave? Do I want them to be, like, traitors that, like, get pushed out of the city? Or, like, what do I want to do with, like, some NPCs? But I'm like, but that means if I do that, I have to create a whole new one. And I've been playing this character for X amount of months, so I'm like, it's just more work for me, but it's fine. I'll figure it out. I'll figure out.
Well, hey, there's like, new possibilities to explore different things.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see what these people actually want. What is the end goal here?
Yeah, because from what we know, they just want this fucking city. But why? Why? What the fuck is it?
Why?
Why are you so obsessed with me? I don't even know.
It's because of the jazz, all right? It's because of the jazz.
But yeah,
because of the jazz, man.
That's all stuff that will be answered by the end of the season. And a lot of things will happen because of those answers. So I can expect that there will be certain NPCs that won't return for one reason or another. Which is kind of fun because, like you said, new opportunities to create new characters, have different types of relationships, things like that. So, good times. We didn't get any questions this week, did we?
No.
Okay. Just wanted to make
sure.
Said
that Roman might be a traitor. He was like...
Oh, yeah, we were talking about that while we were gone. We were speculating that he might be a traitor, but also what very well could have happened is Vincent just manipulated his mind and was nothing's going on here.
Yeah.
Everything's normal.
Everything is fine. Yeah, you don't need to do anything. You already did your rounds. Like, you can chill.
Right. So.
Yeah.
And then after we got out, like, oh shit, something
Roman was so cute.
Roman.
I was gonna go hang out with him.
What did Phoenix say? Roman, the sexy but sus kindred.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like shy. and cute.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll come hang out with you, baby.
He just sits in that fucking room all day. It's like, this is my job. I push these buttons when people need to come here. What do you think the relationship between Nyx and the leadership is going to be like in the future? Seems like Nyx is getting along well with Ashley and Penelope. Why is there no romance? There is romance. There's Ashley and Colette. I just don't showcase it that much because
Yeah.
Colette is pretty private, but Ashley, as you can imagine, wouldn't necessarily be as private with their
There have been moments
relationship.
between, Ashley and Colette, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is a little bit. I think Ashley and Colette is the only couple that I've actually talked about. There are other couples with my NPCs. We just haven't had the opportunity to explore that. That's the thing, is like their personal lives haven't been like a part of our story, so it's like there's no real reason to like talk about it. Ashley
and us as as players, like I don't think we have had enough interaction with anybody to like have
develop anything.
Had the chance to like create like a relationship.
Not yet. Maybe season 2. Maybe season 2, one of them will be in a relationship. You guys can see more of that.
Because we've all only been here for like a month.
Yeah.
Or so.
Yeah.
And
the guys
like,
have been there a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's definitely not the time to like
be trying to
romance to get in people. A relationship.
Nyx is like, I might die tomorrow. I don't care about love. I
really don't give a fuck.
I don't need love right now.
No, I just give me your blood.
Yeah. So let's talk about Jess's question. What do you think the relationship between Nyx and leadership is going to be like?
Honestly, like I think it's gonna be fine. I feel like Nyx is such a tryhard. Like she's trying so hard, and she's been getting like really positive like feedback from like all her elders. Like apart from Alejandro, like everybody has been like really proud of Nyx. Like, and she's been doing really well. She's been adapting really well. She's finally been told like, hey, like you are part of us this past episode. So I feel like that is the thing, like moving on, that is going to like give her a lot more confidence and like a completely different approach. Because you know, she was being put down all the time throughout like her first month and a half by Alejandro. So she had been doubting herself constantly, and when in reality everybody else but Alejandro was telling her like, no, you're actually doing a very decent job, like you're kicking ass. So once Penelope and Ashley like officially with like an actual like physical thing welcomed her in their family, that's it. That's all that Nyx needed to be like, okay, like I can actually do this. Like I have the capabilities. I might be new, I might not know much, but I have all that I need to make a name in this city. And like I was talking about this with Jenna and Steve off stream, but like nobody really thinks about this, but whomever gets in the entertainment area or like performing, you are grinding your ass your entire life. It's one of the toughest industries to get in. It takes so much work and dedication and sacrifice. And she has been doing this for 15 years of her life, since she was like freshman in high school. She has been going and living in a car for years. She had just like gotten her big break like 2 years prior to becoming a vampire. She was 28 when she became big. Like, she had to grind her fucking ass. She's no princess. She's no royalty.
She's earned what she has.
She earned what she had. She had no connection to the industry at all. All she got was because she sacrificed her entire life for it. She sacrificed her, even like her relationship with her parents, for it. So that's one of the reasons why, like, she gets really aggroed with Alejandro too, because Alejandro is always like, oh, you're a princess. Like, she doesn't react that much, but like, she had to sacrifice so much to get to where she was. So she's not scared. She knows that she can do it. She broke through the industry when like the chance of doing that is 0.0001%. So she has nothing to prove to Alejandro anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like, oh, do you want to try like make a fucking like movie and like actually get the role, Alejandro? Do you want to try? Because I can enlist in the fucking police if I wanted to. I just need to go and do training. They take anybody. So at this point, yeah, Nyx is like, you're probably gonna see her change her attitude very much so. Because this is like, okay, welcome to Hollywood, bitch. You made it.
She earned her place in New Orleans.
And you earned it, yeah. So yeah, you're gonna see her like have a completely different attitude from next episode, probably. For sure.
I think one thing to mention as well is I had Ashley and Penelope make that gesture because they had been welcoming toward Nyx. Like, obviously they like embraced her from the start. Even Penelope in her own way, like, because Penelope is a lot different. She never was like, okay, this chick doesn't belong here, whatever. Like, they've always believed that. And they know that it's like, you know, Nyx's choice if Nyx wants to be a part of this community. And obviously, in everything that has happened over the last month and a half, 2 months in their time of knowing Nyx, like, Nyx has proven in some way to them that obviously she's committed to the city on some type of level. Because that's the thing, is like, Nyx could leave at any moment. Literally disappear in the night. Any of these people could. Nobody is being forced to stay in New Orleans. That's not how this works. Just because you work in a coterie doesn't mean you're forced. It's like you're on a contract. You know what I mean? Like, no, like, Nyx could literally be like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm out. This is my life now. Cool. I'm going to go figure it out for myself somewhere else. But she hasn't done that. She's stayed. She's met adversary. Yeah. That word that I can't say now. She has proven to them in some way that she is willing to stick around. You know what I mean? And Ashley and Penelope haven't really made any efforts to be like, look, if you really do want to be here, you know, there's a place for you with us. You know what I mean? Because that's sort of what Ashley and Penelope do. Because Colette touched on it before, of it being like this whole thing that happens with Ashley and Penelope, and it's like this whole big ordeal if they actually invite somebody to stay in the city. So the fact that they did that with Nyx is also pretty significant, because Colette already mentioned that it's like a big deal. And there aren't that many Toreadors. I actually believe the Toreadors are the smallest group in the city. I'd have to look at my notes. I believe they are. It might actually be the Tremere. But it's very selective. And Ashley and Penelope are very selective with who actually is allowed to reside in their domain. Because that's another thing to remember, is like, that's their domain. They can choose if you're welcome or if you're not. And there's, like, Prince Catalina has given them that power. And she's like, that's your territory. You do with it. Actually, it's Tremere. They're the second smallest. Tremere is the smallest. There's only 11 Tremere in the city. They're, like, teeny tiny. So that gesture was really important, and it also opens up the opportunity for Nyx to be like, yeah, this is where I want to be. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I do want to be here. Because that also had not necessarily been communicated. Like, that's the thing is, like, Nyx, Sparta, Alejandro, any of them, Colette, could just be like, okay, you know what? Let's move on. Let's move to a new city. Let's do something else. Like, you know what I mean? There's nothing that is forcing them to stay here if they don't want to be here. Exactly.
Nyx is made it clear that this is obviously like her like new opportunity. Like she sees this as an opportunity, right? Like she's trying like take it as okay, like, well, I have been forced to do this, but it can be something good, you know? Like that's pretty much has been her outlook in life. That's what drove her to like not go completely insane while trying to get famous. It's like, no, everything is an opportunity. Everything is a new opportunity. So like, you know, but like that is literally New Orleans is like the only thing that she has now. So she's like, well, might as well fucking try to make it something, you know? Like, I'm not gonna fucking waste this and like try to bounce. I'm already connected to this pace. This could be an opportunity.
Right. Exactly. And I don't see Nyx necessarily having any problems with like actually finding a place in the city, and like especially if she continues to develop her relationship with Ashley and Penelope, which I'm assuming will be something that happens in that time that we skip. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you can expect for season 2 there to be like a lot stronger roots for Nyx in the city and stronger connections to Ashley and Penelope in particular, but not just them, other people in the city as well. But Ashley and Penelope, with them doing that gesture, has communicated to Nyx of like, hey, you belong with us. Like, you know, maybe it's about time we start having these conversations and like, you know, let's talk about these things. And that was sort of them opening up the door to Nyx and being like, if you want a life here, we can help you.
Yeah.
You know, build that life.
And that's exactly what I was saying. It's like, yeah, that's like what is going to change very much, like the direction that Nyx as a character will take moving on from like, especially from the next night. Like a lot of things happened. Like her mindset is going to be very different. Like you're gonna see a slightly different version of Nyx like moving forward, I feel, and it's just gonna go towards like who she was a little bit more like in life than like, you know, this like very confusing and scary like place that she has been in, very insecure space. She's not an insecure person.
She's just been thrusted into this situation that she knows nothing about, so it's natural for her to be more insecure in that situation than she would typically be. But she's finding her bearing, she's finding her place, she's gaining that confidence. She feels...
And again, No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I'm sure now she feels too like she belongs, like she's not an outsider. She's not... You know what I mean?
No, like that's like what I said. Like I think I RP'd it, but like she said it. She was like, "This is so important. Like this gesture means so much. You have no idea." Because it is. It's like the ultimate confirmation that like she made it. It's the golden ticket to the fucking chocolate factory. Like
yeah, it really is.
You have been chosen. Like you are in. You are in. So like, don't fuck it up. Like own it. You know what I mean?
And when you think about that versus the other people besides Colette, more so just Alejandro and Sparta, they haven't had that experience in the city. They're still sort of, you know, outsiders, and in that sense of like they don't have these people coming to them and welcoming them to their domain. And that's why I was saying like that what actually happened with Ashley and Penelope was pretty damn significant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because it's going to open up a whole world of of opportunity for Nyx in this particular group. Whereas like Alejandro and Sparta are still under the thumb of the Ventru because they've sort of been allowed to stay there temporarily.
Exactly.
But that's not like, yeah, you're a part, yeah, you're welcome here, you're a part of this group. You know what I mean? It's more so of like, we've allowed you to stay here for the time being, but we can also take that away from you at any moment. It's not, there's no security. Whereas like Nyx now has this sense of security that she didn't have before. You know?
Yeah, and again, like that's all she needed to go back to like her confident like self. Like I feel like that's why I'm like all the like paranoid like Nick's behavior is probably not gonna happen. Not as much anymore. She's gonna be like, you're gonna see her as like how she was when she was like in her element, when she was like, I know this, I know what to do. Like, I got this. Like, you're gonna see more of that rather than like, oh my god, like I don't know, like I'm stupid and la di da. And you know, like
about dying every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will see more of that tiny little glimpse of the Nyx we saw when she met Caleb behind stage. And she was a lot different. She was like, you could tell in just that really short RP interaction that we had, she was confident. She was like, she knew who she was. Like, you know what I mean? It was much of a different vibe than the Nyx we've seen. For sure. Phoenix says, can we hear more about Alejandro and Sparta's background? Sure. I mean, what in particular? Because this is stuff that we've talked about before. You just haven't necessarily been here in the past. What in particular do you want to hear about? Or if you guys want to just give a brief background, I'm not sure what she's looking for.
Yeah, I don't think she was here for when we were talking about it. Sparta has ties to the city, but he's not part of the city yet. He has family here, and he basically came to New Orleans to meet up with his family and just found work and ended up basically joining this coterie. Usually at the beginning of every episode, you'll hear him say that he's off training and something. Usually means he's with his family training. And then he just comes back and gets to work. And his family's been part of the city for like hundreds of years. Is basically what it is.
Yeah, kindred family. So we have introduced his uncle, Leo. So this was a few episodes ago, I think, before you showed up. When Sparta was locked up in jail, his uncle, Leo, and his cousin, Lizzie, showed up. Cousin. We use we relate these to human terms, but yeah, that's sort of how it is. And kindred do sort of see each other in these roles as well. Like Lindsay has referred to Catalina as grandmother. You know what I mean? Like it is normal for a kindred family to resemble a human family. But Leo is Sparta's uncle, and then he has a cousin, Lizzie, and then in that same episode it was revealed that Lev is his cousin as well. Yeah, that's who they are.
Why Sparta was so worried about Lev during the whole thing with Vincent.
Right. Because that's his actual family. So he has a really strong conviction that plays into that he will protect his family at all cost. So Sparta has pretty strong ties to the city. He just hasn't ever lived in the city because Sparta's from Baton Rouge. So he's an outsider in that sense. Because the way that the kindred society works, especially in a Camarilla city, I mean, it's the same for anarchs as well. There's domains. And basically, it's important as a kindred when you're going to a new city to know whose domain you're in and to make sure that you sort of have permission to be there. Especially if you're going to hunt. You're not allowed to hunt in people's domains without their permission. So Sparta and Alejandro, because they're sort of quote unquote outsiders, and we're technically Nyx as well until now, they have been given permission to live in the Ventru domain, which means they can live in the Ventru domain, and any hunting that they do has to be confined to the Ventru domain. So our city has 4 different domains. We have a Tremere domain, Ventru domain, Malkavian domain, and a Toreador. So you basically have to have permission to hunt and reside in that area, which is what I was referring to with Ashley and Penelope making that gesture to Nyx and being like, that was basically them welcoming her to the domain and being like, this is where your home is if you want it to be here. Especially because Ashley was like, I can't wait to look at houses. And she threw in that nugget of like, basically Nyx can now go find a house in the Toreador domain and live there. And hunt there and do everything that she wants to do. So that's sort of how the Kindred Society works. So for the time being, Sparta and Alejandro have been given permission in this one area. They've been kicked out of the Tremere area. Because
we're still working on earning our place in the city.
Exactly, right. Whereas his uncle obviously already has a place somewhere, which hasn't been revealed in character. But his uncle already has a place because of his history with the city and his history with Prince Catalina. Nyx has a possible family now. Yeah, exactly. Like she's been welcomed into like the Toreador domain that is there.
Jenna was commenting, it's hard to get into. It's like fucking the VIP club, literally.
Yeah.
Especially being welcomed to the domain and like being like, okay, like you can represent us in our domain.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. They don't just necessarily do it to anyone, for anyone.
Big deal.
Yeah.
With a fancy VIP card.
Yeah. She'll get a bumper sticker for her Porsche.
VIP.
A little rose. No one will know what it is, but the Toreadors.
Oh my God,
that's actually
so
kind of cool.
Yeah.
That is actually kind of cool.
That would be awesome. What if you put like the little rose on like the, you know how there's like the emblem of like the Porsche or whatever, like on top of the thing? Maybe just put a rose in there. Like just like
that would be pretty dope, not gonna lie.
Yeah.
We can think of something cool like that.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
In Alejandro.
Unseen.
That you can only see. That would be kind of cool too. It like
that would
glows.
be kind of cool. Yes.
A certain color. It's pretty dope. Not gonna lie. And Alejandro, Mimsy can talk a little bit about him and his deal.
If we're talking about Alejandro, he's a rebellious fuck. He is rebellious. He's like we talk about Sparta and Alejandro being outsiders in the city. I would say I feel like Alejandro is the ultimate outsider. Like Sparta still has some sort of ties with his, Leo and his family. Maybe not as well put in the city as his family, but still has the ties. Alejandro doesn't have ties in the city. He's a traveler. He does jobs, and he's always gonna be there if his clan needs him.
Which is gonna make it a lot harder for him to make it in the city, basically.
Yeah. He's not someone that stays around for a longer time, especially in cities that isn't heavily. He's a rogue or a nomad. Not
Both, kind of.
In a way, yes, but in a way, no. He just pretty much travels to where he needs to travel. He is very connected to his clan. He doesn't really particularly feel that he's would be staying in a Camarilla city due to certain secrets that he has. He doesn't like a lot of the rules that is within a Camarilla city. Apart from, keeping the Kindred Society safe. But there are a lot of things that he disagrees on. He is independent. Independent, rebellious. He's pretty much a Bruja for a reason, right? And he was the reason. Let's be honest, he was the reason why the Coterie got banished from the Tamir's place, because that rebellious spirit came out and he started asking
I
questions.
don't call it rebellious. I call it disrespectful. It's all about perspective, though.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think he just is disrespectful to authority and doesn't know how to respect authority. That's just the way I perceive it, though. I don't see it as rebellion.
Much. He doesn't really believe,
because in that moment, that's what he was being. He was being disrespectful to Imani and her territory and her shit. Like, it's none of your fucking business, dude. And Ronaldo tried to say that, and then he basically pushed against Ronaldo, and Ronaldo's like, bro, know your place. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, is like, you need to know your place sometimes. And you have no place here. That's literally what Ronaldo said to him. Like, you have no authority here, dude. So you might want to zip it. But Ronaldo doesn't, or Alejandro doesn't respond to that. He just continues. So it puts himself in bad situations. But the way that I perceive it, because obviously perception is everything, is as disrespect. I don't see it as rebellion. But anyway, continue. That particular situation with Amani and Ronaldo and all of that stuff.
He was just like I said, he is very independent. Like he's always had his ways of doing stuff, and like Fen said in the chat, the Camarillas are extremely conservative, which was pretty much.
Well, yeah, no, this
is what we're here for.
Is for like literally discussing with you guys like the questions that are not just of the RP the last time. Like, again, like if new people come in and they don't know much about the history of the city or like the history of the actual Vampire the Masquerade, like it's totally, please, like bring it up and like ask away, because this is the moment for us to like be able to actually interact with you guys and respond to these questions, so that like, you know, you can enjoy the experience even more, because you have this insight, you have this knowledge,
right?
We love to talk about it.
Yeah,
you don't, and we nerd about this shit for like hours. So like,
yeah, you don't need to apologize.
So like, you don't need to apologize. We talk about this anyway, like exactly like this. So yeah, bring it, like whatever you want to know, ask away.
So yeah, like I said, Alejandro's a little bit of a rogue. He follows very heavily the Bruja traditions, Bruja whale lifestyle, I guess. He has a little bit of an authority figure problem, but that was him in as a living as well. He actually would um, step on toes as a detective as well and question his superiors all the time. But he he's a dick, but sometimes he has his downfalls. Definitely has had his downfalls. Um, and he definitely steps on toes.
To say the least.
The only thing, and obviously this is the thing about role play, is everybody's allowed to play their characters how they want. Obviously. But I guess in my brain, how my brain would like thinks about all of this is when you have somebody like Alejandro, who, yeah, obviously is a Bruja, but you also have Colette, who's a Bruja, who's a very different Bruja. We've talked about how, like, just because you're the same clan doesn't mean you're just a carbon copy of the same person. It's not how it works. But Colette also has that same kind of Bruja fire in her. And she's touched on it, how she used to be more sort of quote unquote rebellious in the past and things like that. But I feel like in order to survive, eventually you can't continue to act that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? After a certain, and that's the thing, is Alejandro has been a vampire for 30 some years. It's not like he's new to this. He's been around. He's been in all sorts of different, you know what I mean? Like, he knows at this point. It's like you're old enough. You've been around long enough to know that this is what to expect when you're going to a Camarilla city. So it's like in my brain, it seems like at a certain point, this isn't feasible anymore because you're going to get yourself killed. And the instinct to survive is natural among human and kindred alike. You know what I mean? Like, they want to survive, obviously. If they didn't want to survive, they'd go walk out in the sun and be done with it. But that's the only thing that in my brain, I guess, with seeing a character like Alejandro, it doesn't make sense at a certain point. Because I'm like, dude, like, you know better. It's not like you're 2 years old like Sparta and you don't know anything and you're still learning. And that's the thing is, too, is like these kindred that run these cities aren't going to put up with your bullshit. They don't give a fuck if you're a rebellious Bruja. They're going to be like, well, cool story, bro. Get the fuck out of my city. Because this is how we do things in my city. If you don't like how we do things in my city, leave. There's the door. Saya fucking Nara. You know what I mean? And then so it's like, it doesn't make sense to me that at a certain point you'd be able to hold on to those ideals so strongly after a certain point. Because it'd be like, well, you have no place in the world. Because you're just constantly rebuttaling everyone. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's just the way my brain thinks about it. Which is why you have someone like Colette, who has evolved and changed and learned because she found a city that she loves. She was like, I can't continue to be this way. I can't continue to be like Alejandro. Because she was a lot like Alejandro. She told him that. Like, I think it was the second episode or third episode or something. Yeah. She had this whole big speech. And she's like, we are a lot alike. Like, I used to be just like you. But I found this city and I found people that I love and I found something worth fighting for. And I realized that I couldn't continue to be that way and stay here. So I had to change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, eventually I feel like that happens for Brujas, no matter where they end up, if they're in an Anarch city or if they're in a Camarilla city, because Anarch city still has leadership. You think that you can defy a Baron? No. You can't just fucking do whatever the fuck you want in an Anarch city. There's still domains. There's still territories. There's barons, just like there are princes. And barons are just as controlling as princes are. Like, they just don't have the same traditions. You know what I mean? So it's like, answering to a baron is exactly the same as answering to a prince. It's the same situation. They still control you. Like, it's not just free reign. They're like, this is my fucking territory, and if I don't want you to do something, or if I don't like what you did, you're gonna leave, or I'm gonna punish you. It's just a different way of life in an arc. Who is the oldest of the characters? Like, in our coterie?
There's different ways of looking at this question. Because technically, the oldest in our coterie, as far as vampire years, is Colette. She's 60 vampire years.
Right.
The second oldest would be Alejandro, who is 30 years as a vampire, followed by Sparta, who is 2. And Nyx just got turned at the beginning of the so I'm like a month old vampire. I'm a neonate, what they call neonates, fledglings or whatever. But as far as like vampirical power, Nyx is the oldest one. She's a generation 8.
Mm-hmm.
She has the most potential in her blood power than anyone in the coterie.
Yeah. If you're just talking about like blood potency, she's the oldest and strongest.
And it's
Colette and Sparta.
Then it's Colette and Sparta at generation 10, and Alejandro is like, as far as blood power, he's the least powerful vampire. He's like one generation away from like the Thin Bloods,
mm-hmm.
which are vampires,
whole different
but not
thing.
really.
Yeah. They're like, they're actually not vampires or human. They're this weird in between.
Yeah.
And they have aspects of both. They have aspects of human and aspects of vampire. So it's... But yeah, experience-wise, Colette is the oldest. She is 60, like 64, I think. If we get like all the way down to the year. 1 second. Let's see. What did she say? I guess the element of Alejandro's character makes the story exciting, but it also makes it difficult if there's not much growth in terms of those characteristics. Human nature is to not keep dealing with the same stuff over and over. I agree 100%.
I agree 100%.
It makes it problematic in this scenario because it's like eventually... That's the thing is like, and we've already seen that happen with Alejandro. Like, for instance, with what happened with the blood bond with him and Lindsay. The only reason I did that was to not kill his character or get his character kicked out of the city. Really. So that he could keep role-playing Alejandro. Because it doesn't make sense for Alejandro to still be a part of this group. If we were going to be completely honest, it wouldn't make sense. They would have had told him to leave by now. They would have been like, okay, well, like we're done dealing with your shit. We have bigger things to deal with. People are trying to kill us. People are trying to take over our city. If you don't want to fucking be here, leave. I'm done dealing with it. But that was a way for me to keep him a part of it and try to make it work because it was so problematic to everything that's going on. Because these people wouldn't put up with it. That's the thing, is like, it's not in the characteristics of these leaders to deal with this. Be like, okay, you can stay. How do generations work? So the way generations work, so Kane, he's the original vampire.
He's the first.
Yeah.
He's the progenitor of all vampires. Kane.
The ultimate vampire daddy. You have Kane, which is rumored to have been from the story of in the Bible with the brothers, Cain and Abel. Yeah. This is going like deep into like lore of the game. But Kane is the original vampire. He was originally magically created. And he sired 13 people who became the 13 clans. Yeah, Kane from the Bible. He became... or these 13 childer of his became the 13 clans that we have.
Mm-hmm.
Then from there, so he's first generation, they became the second generation, which created the clans. And then from there, as they created children, it goes like up a generation. So third generation, fourth generation, fifth generation, so on and so forth. So if you have a vampire, for example, like Catalina, she is a sixth generation vampire. That means she's only 5 generations away from Kane. So her blood, every time it goes down, it gets a little bit less, like the strength diluted in your blood. Yeah, like diluted. That's a good way to put it. Mm-hmm. So Catalina's blood is stronger. Oh, thank you for the biddies. Welcome. Her blood is stronger than like a 10th generation, just naturally. Doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you're 1 day old or you're 100 days old. If you're a higher generation, you're automatically more powerful. So each generation you get a little bit more diluted. And that's when you start running into like thin bloods, because they're so far separated from Kane that that magical vampiric shit in their blood is like super low. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of how generations work.
Nyx was turned by a Gen 7. Yes.
Right. So her sire is a generation 7. So from the moment she was created, her blood was as powerful as a generation 8. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter. It's like she doesn't have to be hundreds of years old. Like her sire is probably like 400-ish years 400 old.
Years, yeah.
But she is almost as powerful as him, even though she's only a month old. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like being born into a royal family versus a normal civilian. Sort of, yeah.
I know.
I think in real life, if Alejandro experienced something in real life that caused him to leave or near death, it would be big enough moment in his life that he would be changed by it. Yeah, I mean, that is sort of up to Mimsy and the role play that he does. But yeah, so that's how generations work. So for instance, like Catalina is generation 6. If she made a childer today, her childer will be generation 7, and it would be as powerful as the 500-year-old generation 7s, even though it's only 1 day old.
Yeah. Unexperienced, but
unexperienced. They don't,
and it's exactly the same for Nyx.
Right, exactly. Alejandro and Sparta are not so royal.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, 10th generation is still...
10th generation is pretty good.
Pretty significant.
Yeah.
Until you get like beyond 12, that it's really...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you said,
getting
diluted.
Dicey. Like, you're still powerful,
it's just like,
but
no matter what, you will never be more powerful than a certain amount.
Right.
Like Alejandro, no matter what, unless he diablerizes, which is like literally like sucking dry another older vampire than him as generation 5 times, he will never get to like where Nyx's potential is. So like, yeah, that's kind of like what
same
it
is to be said for like Colette and Sparta.
And Sparta, yeah.
Their blood just isn't as powerful as Nyx, and they never will be. They'll never catch up to her because her blood is more potent, because she has a closer connection to Kane than they do. Who in terms...
I did.
Yeah.
I asked Jenna.
We all chose our generations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we all like discussed our characters with Jenna, and we all like gave her like a background story that she could work on and work into the story as well. So
yeah, they had control over all of that, creating their character. And it worked in perfectly to the story that I wanted to do as soon As soon as she said she wanted to start out as a human and like be turned in the story, I was like, oh yeah, hell yeah. I got this. I know exactly what I'm gonna do.
Yes.
I was just making a joke about their personalities not being royal. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Definitely nothing royal about Sparta, that's for sure.
Sparta is a simple man, okay? It's a simple man that has simple needs, and I love it about I love that about him. I think Sparta is so adorable. I love it. His whole family is cute too.
Yeah. And if you actually get into the nitty gritty of it, there is a little bit of royalty there with Sparta's family. Just saying,
yeah,
I'm not gonna reveal it, but
and that's the thing, like, you know, you never know. Like, I mean, everybody comes from somewhere. Like, you might have ties that you don't know about, or like that you guys don't know about, unless, like, you know, we get to RP those moments and reveal some shit.
Exactly, yeah.
So,
but without revealing too much about Sparta's family played a very significant part in the city in the past. So there is a little bit of royalty there. If anyone,
it's a very humble royalty. He's a very humble guy. He doesn't get that's their clan. Gangrels don't care about that shit.
Yeah.
They really don't.
Does Alejandro have a plan in terms of how he presents as such a rogue, like the goal or route you are trying to take with it, or is it a secret yet to be revealed?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question. I would love to know.
Yeah, I would.
Cast reveal spell.
I mean, there is something that's only one person knows about Alejandro, and that's Jenna. That is not something I'm gonna reveal here. I don't know, Jenna, do you think I could reveal that? Because I don't think that's gonna be taken up in the story.
I don't know what you're referring to exactly.
I'll
Is it a person? Why doesn't Sparta have a pet? I thought gangrels were animal lovers.
I mean, they could, because they do have a discipline called animalism, which actually I think one of the first like levels is for you to create a familiar. So like you would have a familiar with you at all times, but all kindred, like for example, even like a good example would be Colette, who, even though she has been a vampire for 60 years, she has not developed celerity yet, which is one of her clan disciplines, because she has focused her energy, probably because her personality is more prone to resonating with the other disciplines or powers within her blood, which is, again, the one that makes her very fucking strong and the one that makes her very like charismatic and scary. The same thing goes and applies to other kindred. There are other kindred that resonate because of their own personality as humans to certain vampirical powers that they do have in their lineage, and they develop first. So, for example, I don't think Sparta has animalism.
Nope, Sparta is more of he specializes more in the fighty type at the moment.
Yeah. So it's like his protean, which is the one that like makes him see in the dark with the glowing eyes, and the discipline that makes him super tough, and you know, like gives him extra power in combat, in brawl. And again, that makes sense because he was a hunter in his previous life. He was hunting animals.
He used to hunt werewolves as well, so he focused more on fighting rather than
communicating and communing with animals. Yeah. What's the
Me and Jen are just a little bit back and forth right now.
Oh yeah, no, but there's like some questions that we can answer while you guys settle that.
I think he's decided. Right. Then we'll answer your question real quick, Ivy. He's gonna finish what he's talking about.
Here's a revelation that will definitely not be coming in. But Alejandro's first year as a baby vampire, he did the atrocious thing. Alejandro committed
diablerized? So he was a thin blood?
No, because thin bloods can't ever get... Oh, yeah, they can. Just kidding.
Mm-hmm. If they diablerize the younger generation, yeah.
He wasn't a thin blood. But what happened was he was alone. He was still trying to figure out his powers. And with his feeding type, it was kind of like a drug. He wanted more and took it too far. He was seen by a fellow Bruja. Now, I'm not going to be touching so much hard on right now, but he took him in and started teaching him more about himself. So Alejandro did commit diablerie at some point of his life, but that's not something that he would reveal in the city.
Rightly so.
Well, yeah, it's one of the most forbidden things. Unless there's like a blood hunt, and then whatever goes down during the blood hunt. But otherwise, if you kill, especially like it's already like don't kill other kindred unless it's like been like decided that kindred needs to die. Then however it dies, it dies. Whatever happens in the blood hunt stays in the blood hunt, guys. Everything can go down.
So pretty much what happened was he wanted a little bit too much. He was feeding. And blood took over and he ended up killing another Bruja. So therapy? Huh?
Yes, Ivy.
Therapy. Yeah, he does.
But
not sure if there's a therapist strong enough.
Nope.
Maybe somebody would dominate.
It's a different type of therapy. Lindsay, I'll therapy you up.
Yeah, we'll patch you back up.
But yeah, Alejandro has committed diablerie already once. And he knows what it can do. Why isn't he dead, though? Maybe we'll find out.
But I don't think that answered the question anyway. Like, I think the question was, is there like a... Where is it?
Does Alejandro have a plan in terms of how he presents as such a rogue?
Like, okay, that is the background story, but like, how does it apply, and like, how, like, is it going to be influential? Because like Ivy brought up earlier, you know, it's like, okay, like you can, it's not human, honestly, like of anybody to like keep doing the same thing when it's not working or it's working against them. So like, is this going to go anywhere, or like, what is the, I think that was the question.
I think it's gonna see how the rest of the season ends and see, like, you have seen changes in Alejandro. He has shown some emotion.
Oops.
Like, it's still out there. He didn't stay in many cities because he just travels a lot. He was a traveled man. It could be like the backstory reveals. Like there is always a reason. Like he's been a dick, but and that has been touched in the episodes on why he's the way he is, why he disconnects easily, why he doesn't, want to get close to anyone. And I think Nix and Alejandro had that talk a long time ago. Fuck, we only been playing for 2 months, but it feels like forever ago. Where he literally revealed that everyone that he has cared about in his past, in his human life, would end up dying, which is one of his biggest fears. And when he realized after that night at the forest what happened to Colette.
But then, like, my point is, like, he proceeded to, like, treat Colette like shit, like the last two,
yes,
RP
scum
sessions.
of the earth.
Like, that whole incident where they almost lost her, like, didn't happen. Like,
I mean, he was on vacation for 2 weeks, and like that just there could have done that change.
Well, that communicates to me that obviously wasn't that significant.
Yeah.
That's just what that communicates to me. Which is confusing because when he saw Colette right after the break, he like went over to her and was like, "Oh, I can't imagine losing a sister," and like says all this stuff to her and then proceeds to treat her like complete shit afterwards. Which didn't make any sense to me. Because I was like, okay, it seemed like there was some sort of effect, but then there was like no follow-up with the effect. And if anything, he was even more abrasive than he ever has been toward Colette. And a lot of the times unprompted. Like last episode, he talked shit about her the entire episode. Literally. Oh, the entire time. He like jab after jab after jab in like to her face and behind her back. So to go from like crying because she got hurt to then calling his sister to then doing that it's like I can't follow there's no connects there. You know what I mean? For how these things are affecting him in the long term. It's like, are they affecting him in the long term or are they not? Is it just like this short-term effect that he responds to, and then it's like he goes back to like his old ways, which is totally fine because there are people in the world that exist like that. They might have this short-term effect response, and then it like doesn't actually resonate with them for that long, and they sort of like move on. Mm-hmm. Totally, like they're literally, I know people like that. I
know people like that. Yeah.
And I think that's the sort of the question that we were asking, or Ivy was asking, was sort of like, what is like the long term? Is there a long term effect, or will there be sort of a long term effect? Because it doesn't seem as right now that there has been.
Right after the last episode, it was a very conflicting thing. I think Alejandro's in the conflicting way of mine right now. Because he cares, he does care, but at the same time, he doesn't want anyone dead. He doesn't like. I know I have to push them away to keep them safe. That mentality, that weekend or those 2 weeks back home in his city, made him realize, okay, I need to push these guys away. I know, I cried for Kala. I was fucking worried about her. And this is exactly the fucking shit that I already been through. I care about someone, and what's the next thing that happened? They die. So what? I want to care, but can I allow myself to care?
It's kind of funny though, because like everybody is a vampire. Like everybody, all the vampires here, in a way or another, are kind of like even Nyx at this point is aware that like all the people in her life that were in her life are going to die.
Mm-hmm.
True.
So like that in her inset, in her like mindset, did the contrary, kind of like made her realize how important it is to really have connections in this life.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody can die, and now that like she's immortal, she is going to lose literally everybody to natural death.
Mm-hmm.
At least. And who knows,
and even
like,
kindred, you're not,
and even kindred,
just because you live a long time doesn't mean you're immortal. You can't die. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think I even mentioned it at some point when Alejandro and Sparta were talking. Sparta lost.
Yeah, he's
not
like,
only his
everybody
sire,
dies at some point.
his sire and his brothers and sisters were all killed.
Yeah.
Sparta's like, dude, I fucking get it. My entire family was murdered, like, in front of me.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, no, I agree. Ivy, I think you hit the nail on the head when you said Alejandro doesn't know how to deal with his pain in a positive way. He's stuck in a loop of dealing with things in a bad way. Yeah, I think that he just doesn't have a healthy way. And him, like, he has this like unhealthy way of dealing with it when he gets close to people. Then he's like, well, I'm just going to treat you like shit and push you away because I can't allow myself to care about you. Because if I care about you, it hurts too much. Yeah. Which people in real life do that too.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He's holding on to too
100%.
much shame from what he's done, and he can't let himself be vulnerable. Otherwise, he opens up to criticism and consequences of what he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of putting it, Ivy, is that he just has this unhealthy way of dealing with getting close to people. But at the same time, it's like, in this setting, that only can last so long. You know what I mean? Because he's already burned so many bridges. Colette doesn't give a fuck about him now. You kidding me? After this last episode? She's like, I don't give a fuck if you die tomorrow. Like, peace the fuck out. Don't expect me to turn around if you're hurt, because that's literally the mindset that Colette's at. Because in the last episode, he communicated to Colette that he doesn't give a fuck about her. She's like, well, if you don't give a fuck about me, I'm not going to waste my energy giving a fuck about you.
Yeah, and that's pretty much also where Nyx is at, especially after she got welcomed officially to the family. She's like, I've been brought down enough times for me to like care about hearing any of this bullshit anymore. Like, what she has learned from Alejandro is that anything that Alejandro says is absolutely like
invalid, and like that she can deal with shit better than him, probably. And that's just the consequence of RP. You know what I mean? Like, we're not responding this way because we don't like Mimsy or we don't like Alejandro.
Yeah, you Mimsy, fuck you.
You know, it's like we're responding this way because this is how our characters would feel at this point. And Colette would feel this way. Like, I was telling them, if Colette would have heard the shit like he was saying about, like, whenever it was time to go to the safe house, she literally would have looked him in the face and be like, yeah, no, you're right. You're not welcome at my house. Go find somewhere else to stay. And I don't fucking care if you live through the night. Because Colette, who doesn't share her house to people for a reason, that already is significant. She doesn't tell people where she lives for a reason. Because it's the one safe place that she has in the city, that if she needs to go there and the people that she loves needs to go there, then it might be a location that people won't know, or it will take them a while to figure out. So she knows that. She keeps her house a secret for a reason. So there's that aspect of it. And for 2, she's like, I literally am opening my home to you because I know it's the safest place. And now you're going to turn around and try to be like, I'm not welcome there. Blah, 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 blah. Like, if she would have heard that, she'd be like, you're damn right. You want to stay at the safe house by yourself? Peace. See you later. Like, and she has every authority to say that. And all she's got to do is go talk to her girlfriend and be like, hey, babe, it's Alejandro, I don't really want him in our territory anymore. And Ashley and Penelope could literally be like, sorry, you're not welcome in the Toreador domain.
Mm-hmm.
And he literally wouldn't be allowed to go in there. There would be like consequences if he decided to go, if you've been told that you're not allowed to stay, especially and hunt in a territory. It's a big deal if you that person literally has the opportunity to kill you if they want to.
Yeah.
They have that right. So it's like Colette at this point, this is how her mind is because of the decisions that Alejandro has made and the way that he has responded. Whatever for the reason, she doesn't care. You know what I mean? She doesn't care what his reasonings are. She doesn't care if he's trying to protect himself because he doesn't want to feel hurt. She's like, I don't care what your reasoning is, but this is where her mind is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that's just all role play, you know? Character work is difficult in a sense because there aren't real life consequences, which makes it hurt. Well, there are real life consequences. This is a real life consequence. He's been kicked out of a domain. He's been blood bonded to one of the most powerful people in this city, and he has to do everything that she says. And now he is pushing these people against him. These are real life consequences. He's already faced multiple consequences because of his action.
And again, that's like one of the things about role playing, right? Like we all have our characters in mind, like, and even though, you know, obviously it's not like, I don't know, it's not my intention to be like screaming at Memsy's character the entire time, you know, but that's honestly like where Nyx is with Alejandro. Like, and
that's how the character would.
It's the consequence of like these last 10 episodes of roleplay, you know. Again, Nyx doesn't have any connection with Alejandro. She doesn't. She never was like, she was put down like a lot while she was trying to get into the entertainment industry, and she climbed, and now she has had that happen to her again and climbed. So like he's nothing to her right now. Everything that he's going to say to her is like, okay, I'm just gonna turn around and walk away and like do my shit because I know I can do it. So that is actually a real life consequence.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
Jenna was saying.
There has been multiple consequences, and not just for Alejandro. There's been other consequences in the group. You know what I mean? And there's been consequences that I have thrown into as storyteller. I've made them deal with consequences of their actions multiple times, you know? So just like, well, that was a dumb idea. So here's the shit show that you got to sort out now because you made a stupid choice or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, there definitely is consequences that can help build your character. Let's answer these questions and then we can start wrapping things up. So Ivy, I believe it was Ivy, asked, what's the vampire turning process? I know it's different for each type of lore. Someone else.
So
I feel like I'm talking a lot.
How it works is it really depends. First of all, there's like rules. So you can't just be turning vampires however you want. Like if a vampire decides that they want to turn somebody, they have to go to the elders and to the prince or whomever is in charge of the city and the domain that they're at and ask permission. Once they are granted permission, they are 100% responsible of their choice of making that vampire. So they have to, everything that their childer, which is like the correct term for like sire and childer, every action that is coming from the childer is on them completely. So it is like a very important responsibility and big responsibility for a kindred to decide to turn somebody into a vampire kindred. The actual technicality of turning a vampire is the kindred would suck the human pretty much dry up to the point that they're almost dead. And right before they would die, they give some of their blood to the human, turning them into a kindred. The turning process is immediate. They're immediately vampires. And obviously, like, then, depending on the degeneration, on a bunch of other things, you start with a certain, like, disciplines and characteristics and stuff like that. And that's pretty much what it is, like the whole process, like politically and technical.
Then Phoenix said, can kindred drink from blood banks, or do they have to drink from a human? And how often do they need blood? Not taking into account fights or injuries, just on a normal day. So this is a little interesting, and it's different for everyone, because I think we talked about this earlier. The older you are, the more complicated it gets to feed. So blood potency, like that's basically how we talk about the older you are. Your blood gets like more potent, and the older you get, the harder it is to quench your thirst. So we were talking earlier about like Catalina, who's almost 600 years old. She likely feeds on other vampires, which typically is frowned upon, but when you're that old, like, everybody understands. They're like, yeah, we get it. Like, humans don't quench your thirst anymore. The same is to go for blood bags. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about, like drinking from a blood bag. Younger generations can do it, but like Nyx can't. Her generation is too high. Her blood is too potent. So
I can't drink from animals or blood bags. It will make me sick.
Yeah, she has to drink from a human. So
and it takes me twice as many humans as, for example, Memzi, Alejandro, to quench the same amount of like hunger that I have.
Yeah. So typically it depends on multiple things, like how much they have to drink and like how often. But you can assume that likely every single day a vampire is going to feed at least once, on any given day, at least once. That's not taking into account, like you said, fighting and injuries and things like that. Because if they need to like heal themselves, they need more blood in order to heal themselves, eat better and stuff like that. So you can assume that at least once a day a vampire feeds. At some point in their day, and then they might feed more depending on like what they're doing.
They need, because like, for example, making yourself stronger, faster, using disciplines. There's what you guys can hear, like can probably like you guys hear it all the time, but you don't know what it is. It's a rouse check. You are like trying to see if activating that discipline or bumping up a strength point in your like character sheet will activate more hunger. It will make your vampire hungrier. So those are like the situations where, for example, if you're in a combat situation or whatever, you fail a few rouse checks, you're fucking hungry. You're going to need to feed.
And it's happened a couple of times.
And the higher, so to I'll answer your question in just a second, Ivy. Or to explain how the blood works is basically we refer to it as the beast. You might hear me say this here and there. But basically what's happening when we do those rouse checks and like their hunger is getting higher and higher, that beast within them, that vampiric like power that is in them that completely takes them away from their humanity is getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And basically vampires feed to sort of make that beast within them go down. So there's some vampires, like I have chosen to play Lindsay, always has a high hunger because she likes that feeling. She gets a thrill out of it. She wants the beast to be in control because she's always right on the edge of losing control, and she likes that. There's some vampires that like that kind of shit. They're into that. You know what I mean? So her hunger is usually always a little bit higher than like your average vampire. But most vampires, they want to control the beast, and the only way to do that is to feed on humans. And to make that
every vampire is always hungry.
Always
kill somebody.
That's the only way to make it go away.
of being absolutely hunger free and freed of the whispers of the beast is for you to actually kill your victim that you're draining.
Yeah. And then you're like, you don't have that like voice in your head. So, and also to answer your question, Ivy, about it's not that she has a higher thirst necessarily. It's just that to quench her thirst, it takes more.
I need more.
Whereas like Mimsy or Alejandro might only have to feed on one human, but she has to feed on multiple humans, depending on how much she wants to go down. Like if she's at like hunger 3 and she wants to go to hunger 1, she would need 4 humans.
Yeah.
To feed on without killing them.
Without killing them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So.
Or 2 if I killed them.
Sparta has a higher thirst than, say, Alejandro.
Yeah. It's the same for Colette and because I believe their blood is at the same potency.
Two,
it requires 2 humans for Colette as well. That's why she always takes 2 with her usually. But yeah, so that's sort of how it works. It's not necessarily a higher thirst. It's just to make their thirst go down, they need more humans in order to do that. But yeah, that beast, and it's funny because I highlighted that in Colette's we always do an inner monologue, and I'm actually gonna highlight it again in her next inner monologue because she went to bed at hunger 3. So that beast is rowling in the back of her head right now, which by the way, everyone went to bed hungry. I think only Nyx and Sparta. Did you guys fail any rouse checks?
No, not
after you fed.
I did feed, so I didn't.
You're at 2. Okay, yeah, Colette's at hunger 3 because she failed a rouse check at one point. So the higher it gets, the more that beast is sort of in the back of your head and playing tricks on you and shit. And always trying to get you to
punch it.
Do it.
Snap his neck. Do it.
Yeah.
Do it now.
It's like antagonizing you all the time.
Yeah.
So.
You can't forget like all vampires have their own feeding style as well, right? Like
predator style.
Alejandro, for example, doesn't drink off humans. He just does not. Which, before the blood bond, was absolute hell, because I was riding between 3 and 4 all the time. And, like, if you wonder how he actually maintained his hunger down, was because he would sneak out of the city. Before the blood hunt started, he would sneak out of the city.
Quite the opposite, Phoenix.
Quite the opposite, yeah. Actually,
let's just say Nyx's. I have pretty enjoyable experience.
Yeah, I have fun when I feed. That's my style.
Violent one.
Sparta's feeding style is what is considered violent. Like he tosses his victims around. Nyx has a whole party.
Nyx tosses them around, but in a different way.
In a very different way, if you know what I mean.
It's usually a pretty sexual experience for sirens.
Yeah, it's a whole it's a whole orgy type of situation.
Yeah, it's very enjoyable for the humans, which is why they usually become like infatuated with the person.
Yeah, with sirens. Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, I want more. Give me more.
Alejandro's style, he feeds off of other vampires, which is kind of like frowned upon because it's very dangerous. It's a very dangerous way of feeding because like if you're not careful, you can get that bond in if you're not careful enough.
Yeah.
Or potentially commit diablerie.
What happens? Yeah.
Which was eventually what happened very early stages of Alejandro.
Mm-hmm.
But his biggest reasoning for not wanting to feed off humans is his living life. He still kind of sits to the whole protect and serve thing, cop mentality. That is like, yeah, I'm not gonna, no, I'm not gonna attack them. Just give me vampire blood.
Colette has the same predator style as Sparta. She throws her victims around. And she's killed many of
like
her.
whacking them like
She's also killed many people, like on accident, but like
yeah, like Sparta. How many times Sparta has like investigated a body and literally like snapped multiple like fucking bones because he was a little bit too rough with it. I'm like, excuse me, dude, like you don't do this, like and picking people up. What the fuck?
It's like a China shop.
Yes,
like
Ivy, exactly.
Yes, Ivy. Mm-hmm.
And to humans, not to vampires. It's like he cares more about humans than he does.
But then he was going to leave 15 people in the waiting room with like a fucking evil, bloodthirsty fucking vampire when like Nix was like, "Are you fucking kidding me right now, Alejandro? Like what? Serve and protect
Actually,
whom?"
I didn't fucking do a rouse check after that sentence, which I should have done.
Rouse
to
check.
see if they act. No, it's a check for to see if they actually hit my humanity or not.
That's not how that works. That's you're gonna get a stain for that. That's up to me.
It's a stain. Yeah.
Which we'll talk about at the beginning of our next episode. But the only way you lose your humanity is if you lose a touchstone or you get older. Like you lose humanity over time. But
there's no way around
but the way that works of what you're talking about is a stain on your humanity, and that's more so up to the storyteller to enforce. Of like your humanity is going to get stained because you went against your conviction.
And it's not that you're losing the humanity.
No.
Like that's not how it works at all. It's
No.
like just something that it's going to influence you probably like mentally.
Yeah.
For a little while.
Yeah.
Because it's like something that it's a decision that it's completely against what you would normally do. So you would feel a certain way regarding it.
Right.
Like obviously if you keep doing the same shit over and over and over again, then no, Mems is here. He just went to bio break very fast.
We were talking about the humanity and the decision.
Yeah, the stain.
Humans.
Like the
yeah,
stains.
the stain. Yeah. So it's not that you're gonna lose your humanity or anything.
Yeah.
It will just be
it's a behavior that you would have to be doing multiple times consecutively of the same that will make your humanity go down.
Yeah.
But otherwise it's just something that you're probably going to deal for however long, like Jenna.
Yeah. It'll be something you roll for, which we'll do at the beginning of the next session. And that'll be like your consequence for like in that moment going against like that strong conviction that you have.
For everybody in chat, all three of them are really oriented towards saving humans, which is why it was such a big deal that Alejandro was willing to leave him. The only one that wouldn't have given a damn was Sparta, and he was just like, whatever. All right, you're gonna do it. Grab him. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's in Nix's convictions to always protect innocent people.
Yeah.
Like
same with Colette and Alejandro. Protect the innocent from harm. So that's like
one of the very things that connects her to her humanity. It's one of the core morals and ethics that she follows, and even as a vampire, pretty much.
Yeah. Most vampires, especially not very old vampires, have some sort of conviction that ties them to their humanity. As they get older, that kind of goes away with time. They get more and more and more disconnected from their humanity, like Catalina. And that's why last podcast I was saying we can't necessarily justify Catalina's behaviors on a human level because her humanity is 3. And she doesn't think like a human. She doesn't relate to human nature in any way. Alejandro has done some major dick moves in his time then, I guess.
What do you mean?
I don't know what you mean. Colette would say yes.
I think
Colette is like, yeah, you don't have to tell me you're a dick. I know.
Humanity, I think it's Sparta. Sparta has the least humanity, right?
Yeah, I'm at 5.
Yeah, everyone else is higher than him.
I have the highest one because I'm the baby. So, like, if you're a very new character, you start at humanity 7, which is pretty much like a fellow human being. So, like, my humanity is as human as it can be. I think Colette and Alejandro are at 6. Yeah. And then Sparta is the one with the least humanity.
No shit about humans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you mean it was a shock with the group because he doesn't usually act that way? Yeah, it was a shock with the group. No. Yeah. Sorry, I read what you said wrong. It was a shock to the group that he would react that way because we all know that he's not like that. He doesn't usually act that way. Mm-hmm. Probably was a shock to Alejandro. That later he'll be like, why the fuck?
Like, at the time I didn't realize it. Like, this is gonna sound like a bad excuse, but reflecting a little bit on Sunday when I woke up, I feel like I should have just taken the night off that night. I didn't play Alejandro as I would actually play him. I was still just a day off from hospital, and it sounds like an excuse, but I didn't want to let the rest of the people down. And I played anyways.
Oh, don't say that. Like, and again, like we said it with Jenna, like if any of us like are feeling a certain way, like don't be scared about like having to reschedule or anything.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like at the end of the day, like if you're not okay, then it's better for everybody and yourself as well to like just like take care of yourself. Yeah. But I mean, again, it happens. Like fuck. Like I remember like that time, like we were at the fucking like trying to get Travis, and like Nyx took out the fucking phone, which was the thing that we like that fucked up Colette the episode before, and I was fine. Mm-hmm. Like that was just like a mind fart. Like I literally like afterwards I was like, Fenice is upset. I am upset with myself. Like I'm genuinely like, obviously thank God like Jenna rolled bad and it wasn't like as bad as far like a stain or whatever, sure, but like I fucked up. Like I knew better. Mm-hmm. Like, and actually Nyx, if I really thought about it, like they talked about the fucking incident in the woods being caused by a fucking phone flashlight. Yeah. And like, so I had no excuses there, like at all. And I was in the hospital, you know what I mean? Like it happens. And plus like, we just started this. Like I pay attention very closely to banes and convictions and touchstones because I like to complicate my life. So whenever I'm like, hey, Jenna, is this gonna like fuck me up? Is it? Please give me like throw me a challenge. So like, but that's me. But like this is a whole new system for me too. So like don't beat yourself so hard, Memsy. Like
I think one thing to remember for us going forward is like, if you feel like you need to not be in that episode for whatever the reason is, then it's better to make that decision, because the problem is we're not going to erase everything that happened. You know what I mean? Even though that's a very valid reason. And that thought crossed 100%. My mind I was like, is this just how he wants to play Alejandro right now? Or is this like because he's a little bit off of his game? You know what I mean? And that thought did cross my mind. But either way, like, it's better to just be like, okay, I'm not really feeling it today, and like not be in this session, than to like force yourself because you feel like you need to for us, because that's not the case. Because whatever happens in that session is going to be, there might be consequences for it. You know what I mean? Just because you can't necessarily expect everyone else to be like, oh yeah, you know, I had an off day, just kind of ignore that, because that's not not fair to everyone else either. You know what I mean? So I get it. I understand the same, because there have been a couple of days where I've felt really horrible, and I'm like, I don't know if I should do it today, but I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't want to let everybody down. I get that feeling, but at the same time, I think that it's better to just be like, hey, maybe we should just take the day off, or I can't be in this episode, or whatever.
Because at the end of it, it's supposed to be fun for you as well as for everyone else. So if you're not going to be able to have fun playing that night because your health and all of that, then definitely night off. It's better, like Dental says, your health is more important.
Yeah. Or if you even feel like you might not be able to play your character how you would want to play them, you know what I mean? Then, because that's the thing, is like, how you play your character is going to affect the group, and it's going to create other situations that are going to happen. So it's like, if you wouldn't have necessarily played that way, if you were like in a better mindset, then it's better to make that decision. Because honestly, Alejandro is pretty brutal in the last episode, and there's going to be some pretty significant consequences because of it. Like, from Colette in particular.
Yeah, and from Nyx as well, like I was talking about earlier, because like, it was like very significant for her in that moment. Like, again, as I said, Nyx is not what you guys have seen her as at all. She's not. She's a very happy-go-lucky, very positive go-getter. She's a try-hard, and she likes to know her shit. She likes to know her shit. Like, she likes to be like, I actually know this. I am, like, I did study. I'm smart. Like, and you know, like, with how it was and how she saw, like, again, I had to play Nyx, like, getting out of scenes, which I have never done in 10 episodes. You know? Like, she never leaves. She's the one that actually sticks around always and tries to talk to everybody. You know? So yeah, no, absolutely. Like, let's be gentle to ourselves, because it does matter. And like, you know, like you said, Jenna, like, I can't just erase what happened.
Right.
In role play, even though, like, me as Fenicia, like 100% I empathize.
Yeah, same. Like, I get it.
I'm like, I was like, makes sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's sort of just, you know, this is where we are. This is what happened. And that's
and it is what it is, guys. Like, at the end of the day, this is a game. Yeah. Like, I personally don't have anything against Memzi or anybody for having done anything. I think it just brings more conflict. And again, like I just said before, I like when things are complicated. If there's no drama, then what the fuck are we watching? You know? Like, if everybody is like there's nothing interesting going on, there's no challenge. So like, this is not like the end of it. This is not the end of the campaign, guys.
No.
You know, there's a lot to be done and a lot that can be triggered from that. And maybe like the fact that like both Nyx and Colette will like have a very different approach with Alejandro's character. Maybe that will be like
What
something that
changes?
in game will change Alejandro's maybe attitude towards them, or towards the group, or towards the city. Because I think Alejandro has been focusing a lot of his energy in like his past, and like he's very connected to his backstory, but he's not, that is occupying so much of what is happening for him in the moment, that is not allowing Alejandro to make connections with the story of now, right? So like maybe this is it. Maybe this is gonna be the trigger that is gonna be like, oh shit, actually, like I kind of care about this. I kind of would like to make a connection. I kind of would like to belong here, you know? But I mean, that's all Memsy. I don't like to tell people like, you know, you're playing your character wrong, or this is not how to play, or whatever.
Yeah.
Because again, like we were saying, like even in this RP that you were off, Memsy, like it still makes sense for what Alejandro has been so far.
Yeah, it still goes within his character.
Yeah.
Like
You
I don't
didn't do
think
anything against.
I don't think you besides that one moment.
Yeah, apart from that
but
one moment.
But everything else, like
part.
Even though he was being like super abrasive and it didn't make sense why, that no one has understood why Alejandro is the way that he is. Like it still went within his character. You know what I mean? Even though it was so like, geez, like Colette sitting there like, my God, like give me a break. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, like it totally still goes within Alejandro's character.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. Especially because now we're like really at the nitty and gritty. Like either he commits and
or
he
leaves,
opens, or he leaves. So like I feel like this would be kind of like the moment of more resistance for Memsy's character, because he is at a break where he's like, okay, I'm gonna allow these people to actually matter and be influential in my life, or I'm going to decide to completely disconnect. And the way of disconnecting is to push away, to push us away from him, right?
Exactly.
So again, like all in all, it still ties into his story and his personal arc in a way or another. So I'm actually like excited to see, okay, like what's going to happen now, because things are going to change for Nyx. They're going to be dramatically different from like what they have been the last 10 episodes for sure.
Bring on the drama.
Bring on the fucking drama. Like Warfox says, we can't have a telenovela without some crying, bitch.
Yeah, I mean, Colette isn't necessarily going to create drama. She's just not going to put up with any shit anymore. Yeah. She's just going to be like, look, dude, I know my fucking place in the city, and I'm tired of you, like, shitting on me. So, enough's enough. So if you think about it, I mean, Colette does have a little bit more pull than Alejandro in this city. Just a little.
Quite a bit.
Okay. Any last final thoughts? We went 30 minutes over what I wanted, but let's wrap it up. And anything else anybody wants us to talk about real quick that would be like real quick? Or are you guys happy with, obviously, you know, you don't feel like you have to ask all of your questions today. We'll have more of these. But
yeah, there's going to be more opportunities for us to do.
A lot, like we said early on, a lot is happening. A lot is happening, not only story-wise, but for Night Prophecies as well. We're making everything nice and pretty for you guys. And when time comes.
Phoenix, we talked about that earlier. All it means is how closely connected he is to humanity. That's all your humanity level means.
How much he cares about humans.
Yeah. The lower your humanity level gets, the less connected you are to humans.
And just that level 5 means that he doesn't necessarily care about humans, but he still has some empathy.
Yeah. He's not like Catalina level where she like is level 3, and it's really hard for her to connect to the human race. blood club soon.
We'll talk.
That's funny. But
Well, Ashley has her own event. Like, who says that Nyx can't create her own event? She knows how to throw a party.
We did put it in motion. All parties agreed.
Jesus. Blood sprinklers, you're right. It was agreed on in that very weird council meeting you guys had. Catalina agreed. Better hold her to it.
Motion accepted. Stamp.
It's funny. All right, guys. Well, that is going to be it for today. Thank you so much for coming and contributing to the conversation as much as you guys did. It's been amazing to watch this little community grow and people show up that are interested in the stories that we spend hours thinking about and preparing for. So I am very, very appreciative of you guys being here with us, and we're excited for the things to come. You guys can join us. I'm pretty sure everybody here knows, but you can join us on Fenice's channel this Saturday for our next RP session.
Episode 11, baby.
Episode 11. The end is coming. The grand finale is coming, so you can catch up. You can catch up on our YouTube channel. I should know what that thing is. It's not that or that. It's a YouTube channel that exists in the world that I don't remember the command for. Anyway, if you want it, message me on Discord. You guys have a great night. Thank you for joining us.
Bye, guys.
We love you guys. Bye.